All right, we are live. We are live. We are live. Episode 69 featuring Lauren. I'm laughing because we had this discussion about the name, so I'm still laughing. It was funny. So, but we definitely appreciate Lauren for definitely taking the time out to appear on the Elite podcast. So as we continue to move on to a new month in what month we in? April? Yeah, April. So we in April, so we definitely gonna try and highlight some entrepreneurs, what they, and what they're doing, definitely representing the Virgin Islands abroad, also locally as well too. So it's just us just highlighting different people, just inspiring, keeping our history going, and the whole nine. So, I always appreciate everybody tuning in, supporting the podcast. Definitely appreciate you guys tuning in, supporting Lauren on her episode. So I hope everybody doing good. I hope everybody having a good day. Today's what, Monday? Yeah, Monday. I'm all over the place. So I apologize, viewers. I apologize, everybody. So, I hope everybody having a good Monday. I hope everybody had a good weekend, a good Easter weekend and all that. So, I'm going to go into the shout out some of the people there from the Virgin Islands doing the thing with the businesses and stuff like that. So we got legends340.com. We got Savory Eats LLC based in Orlando. Sheena Fontaine. So anytime you guys in the Orlando or the outskirts of Orlando area, like Kissimmee, Davenport, Oviedo, whatever, you definitely support Sheena. And she also gonna be coming out Wednesday, 7 p.m. So make sure you guys, if you guys got time, tune in to that. We got meltingpotcooking.class.com. Also follow on Instagram, Melting Pot Cooking Class. We got Siboney Caribbean Restaurant, Next Level Up Printing, Calypso Clothing LLC. We got Hungry Hearts Hustle, apparel.com. We also got Island Time. We got Coach Tegan and his workout videos on Patreon. We got CaribbeanGirlsRap.com, Facebook, Instagram, Caribbean Girls, and that's on Facebook, Instagram, official Caribbean Girls Rap IG. And this is one of these shirts. It's actually like a little sweater, So definitely, guys, if you guys got time, go on and support. They have merchandises as well too. We got meltedbycroix.com, Facebook, Instagram, Melted by Croix. You guys definitely check that website out. Some nice, good wax scented candles. We got Rico Canario. We got Midnight Entertainment. Follow on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok at The Real Midnight. We got City of Refuge Worship Center. Follow on Facebook. We got The Good Life Apparel. We got AIM Credit Repair LLC. Shout out to Livewire Sports. Follow on Facebook. We got C Boogie Talks every Thursday, 8 p.m. So make sure you guys tune in this Thursday. We got The Brand LLC and The Edge Performance. We also got on Instagram, Facebook, Dexter _ Sinister _ exclusive unapologetic. Apollo Legion, shout out. We got Paris Enterprise. We got Larisha Star Brown with Stars, Eats and Treats. We got Bubbles Promotion. We got Mentality of a Pro. Tegan's new book, his website is www.kevincoachtshepard.com. We got Nona Envira Group. Shout out to Wayne and the whole family and everybody, Chanel. So definitely you guys check out the website, www.environona.com. We also got Kenya Eugene, KenyaHeartMusic.com. You guys check that out. Also follow her on all the music platforms. She have an EP and an album out as well too. We got Senator Genevieve Whitaker as well. Shout out. We got AnonymousWestGirl.com. Also, you guys check out the website as well too. Hope everybody doing good. Heal up to everybody. Charmaine, much love. Big up, Charmaine. Much love. So I'm not gonna hold the viewers much longer. We have our future guest, Lauren. A stylist, talented. From St. Croix. So we would definitely like to welcome Lauren to the Elite Podcast, episode 69. Welcome.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
How you doing? How's
good
everything?
Night, Charmaine. Good night.
Yes, Charmaine. Yeah. Representing, you're supporting.
I know, it's very nice. I definitely have to get one myself.
Yeah, man. I love, the colors, the combination. I love it.
It's nice. It's real nice.
Yeah, it's
and I'm always in long sleeves, so that's perfect for me.
Oh yeah, that's perfect for you. Yeah, that's true.
All right. So as Mumba said, first off, let's start at how I got here on Mumba's show.
yeah. Let them know the nightmare you went through.
No. Well, we actually went to high school together. I think we had, what class was it? Was it speech, or I think it was an English class,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
literature class, one of those classes.
yeah, yeah. That's true.
One of the few classes that I went to on a regular basis.
Me too. Me too.
But I think it was a lot of us in there. We just all was clowning all the time. Like, I think we had more fun in that class than anything else.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, how are you, Carrie Ann? But no, so we'll get back to high school and all that. But like he stated, my name is Lauren. I go by Lo. So that's where some of the confusion about my name came in, what I like to be called. My name is fine. Lauren is fine. Some people call me Lo because that's how they met me. So like Mumba met me as Lauren, so it's weird for him to call me Lo.
Yeah,
So that's
it's
how I'm
weird.
like, well, whatever you feel comfy with, because we were introduced as Lauren. So
Yeah.
but some people only know me as Lo, so it works out either way.
We go Lo. Lo sound cooler, so we go Lo.
No, I know. It's like,
Yeah.
it's my alias. But so I don't think most people know, but I was actually born in Jamaica,
Oh wow.
but I was raised in St. Croix. So I went to St. Croix, I think it was in 7th grade. So I went to Arthur Richards. And then from Arthur Richards, I went to St. Joseph. And for lack of a better term, that didn't go too well, the private school life.
Shout out to all our saints out there. Shout out.
Right.
Karen,
Shout out to all
Christine,
the saints.
Jenny. No, not Jenny. My bad, not Jenny, but Christine, Karen. Yeah.
Sheena on Wednesday, she'll be there.
Oh yeah,
She was
Sheena.
there.
Yeah.
We both started there. I don't know. Maybe she graduated from there or not. I don't remember. Hey, Jenny. So yeah, so I went to St. Joe's. Look, I spent my sophomore year, that's 10th grade, right? So 10th grade.
Yeah, 10th grade, yeah.
I spent detention every single day because I refused to let down the hem in my skirt. So they will so the principal, I guess, thought, like they were doing something to me to be like, either take down the hem of your skirt or you're going to be here detention every day. So I'm like, I have practice anyway, so this will kill time for practice. So I take detention. Like it was, it was a very easy choice. So by the end of 10th grade, they were like, yeah, this isn't a good fit for us. The fact that you would choose that over just wearing the right length, it's not going to work out.
That's crazy.
There's some other things that happened too between me and one of the teachers, but I ended up at Complex. That is how I ended up meeting you. Because you're a year ahead of me. So
yeah,
you were in 12th grade when I got there in 11th grade.
Yeah. When you graduated, 2001?
Yeah, 01.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I graduated 2000.
Okay, yeah. That's when like basketball was insane, volleyball was insane. Like 11th and 12th grade year was epic in terms of sports on St. Croix.
Yeah, it was epic. I'm gonna jump back a little bit because we did. I didn't know you are come. I think about it. I might have heard that you was from Jamaica, but I didn't know like you moved to St. Croix that late.
Yeah.
So how was growing up in Jamaica, and like which part of Jamaica you was raised up at?
And that's the thing. I wasn't raised in Jamaica, so I left Jamaica very young.
Okay.
I left around 5 or 6, and then we went to New York for a little bit, and then we ended up in Florida. So that's why after high school, I came back to Florida because I already was here for elementary school. So I kind of knew a little bit, of the area. So when it was time to leave St. Croix, we came back to Florida. So, and I came back to Central Florida. Miami is too busy for me. I'm more of a country girl. So I enjoy living. I was in Polk County for years. And that's very country.
Yeah, that's country.
Very country.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, I'm a big girl. I'm in college. Well, I finished college. And then I moved to Orlando to be a big girl, to be in the city.
That's it.
And now I like it here. So it would take a lot to get me to move from here. Definitely take a lot to get me to move from here.
Yeah, Orlando is nice. It's definitely nice. It's growing a lot too. That's the thing. You see how
It's
much it
growing
has
too
grown.
much.
It's crazy.
You see 10 trees in a row, and then 6 weeks from then they tearing them down to build something, anything. Mainly housing. Because everybody's coming to Florida.
Yeah,
Between here and Georgia, everybody's moving south.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Hi, Facebook user, whoever that is.
That's RT.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's RT.
Good evening. Good night. Good night. But yeah, I came to St. Croix kind of late. But I don't really. To me, that's where I grew up. Those are your formative years. That's when you get your friends, your personality, your everything, what you want to be when you grow up. All of that happens from middle school to high school. So like, your first boyfriend, your first sneaking out, your first everything, happens in those years. And that really shapes who you are as a person.
That's true.
I have siblings and they didn't really acclimate to the Caribbean life the way I did. So not in like a bad way, because, we live in a Jamaican home, like that's the food we know and all of that stuff. But I feel more comfy in a Caribbean setting than I do in an American one. So it was a shift when I left here to go there. But now seeing the two worlds, and especially now, 20 years later being an adult, I prefer the culture and everything that I learned in those years. And I'm grateful now for it. I'm grateful now for it for sure.
Definitely. I was hoping you say that. I was hoping you choose our culture.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. That's why. So people always ask me, they're like, well, where is your accent from? Where are you from? Well, it's definitely a mismatch, a hodgepodge of everything. I'm not raw Crucian because, that's not the first language that I spoke.
That's true.
So I'm not like a raw Crucian, but at the same time, like my parents still speak patois, like Jamaican patois in the house. So that's what I grew up listening to. And then I work in an environment where I can't say, you gay, like I can't do that. So, so I have to speak, so other people can understand. So it's definitely a blend. And I think most people who's from the Caribbean, when you go to work, you tone it down and, to the best that you can.
Yeah, you got to.
Because they won't understand anything. Now, if I get excited at work, they're like, oh, I heard it. I heard the accent.
They be waiting. They be waiting for you.
Yes.
They be like, low.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, I know I'm gonna get low. I'm gonna get low one of these times. I'm gonna get low one of these times. I'll be paying attention.
For sure. Another fun fact what's my inspiration? Okay, I'm gonna come back to that. But one of the things that people also don't know about me off the bat is I'm super athletic. They don't know that I was a baller shot caller. Like, they don't know.
In what sport?
I played basketball and volleyball. I actually went to college on a volleyball scholarship.
Really? Wow.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I did. And I was a walk-on even. Like, I had to earn that spot because when I left St. Croix, hairgician, that's me. When I left St. Croix and came back to Polk County, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do in life. It was a toss-up between hair and teaching. So my parents wasn't really about the hair life. They were like, you have too much brains to really just do hair, you know, because at the time, that's all it was, is you just do hair. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go to college. So I took maybe like 6 to 8 months, almost possibly close to a year off. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to be forced to go to college, it has to be entertaining for me. So I walked on, you know, I found out where, you know, the college campus was close to my house, because I'm not a school person. And this is very bad to say coming from a person who educates in a school, but I'm not a school person. So it took everything in me to go to class to keep my grades up so I could still play in high school, you know, like, because I started playing sports young. I started off in track in elementary. And then when I moved to St. Croix, you know, because track wasn't really as big in St. Croix, it was more either basketball or volleyball. So because I had the height, that's where they put me. So I've actually I played volleyball and basketball from 7th grade through college. So now I do nothing. If I try to touch my toes, I feel like I go pull every hamstring, every muscle, every joint. It's horrible.
So how was the experience like playing in high school? Volleyball and basketball.
So it was good. I've always been very slim, so they tried to, you know, rough me up and stuff like that. But I have a lot of heart, so that's
true.
Yeah, I always fought back, so it wasn't an issue. And you know, a lot of people don't know that too. Like, not to say that I was a fighter, because I'm not about the, you know, die life, but I'm not a pushover. You know, like, I don't pick any trouble with anybody, but I can't let you hit me first because I'm gonna lose. So
that's the right mentality.
So we have to figure out a good common ground, and most of the time it just ends up with me like, you know what, let me just go about my business, because I don't have the time for it. But I enjoyed playing sports. I miss it to this day. Like, just the other day I was thinking like, okay, I want to exercise, I want to do something, but just going to the gym is boring. So I was even trying to find if anybody's starting up any intramural leagues or teams or co-ed teams, or, you know, sometimes churches have like, you know, game nights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was looking online to just find something to get myself active, because I don't I don't move very much at all outside of work.
Yeah, it'd be good. You just hope for no type of injuries and stuff like that, you know?
Right, because that's now we're brittle.
Part. Yeah, we get older, you know, so we might feel young still, but
I do.
Bones and, you know, the bones don't feel that way though.
No, they don't feel that way at all. Like, every day that I work longer than 4 or 5 hours, you know, it's like you start to stretch and, you know, try to get through the rest of the day. And hair is hard on your body. A lot of people don't, I guess, think about that. But, you know, some days I'm on my feet 8, 10, 12 hours with, you know, a half of a sub for the whole day, maybe some water. So it's hard on your body for sure.
Yeah, we can't do that. We got to increase a little bit more calorie intake. You know?
I try, but it's hard when I'm working, because I eat with my hands and I'm doing hair with my hands. So, you know, I do use a lot of the icy hot wraps and Bengay. I do use a lot of that. So somebody asked me what my inspiration was.
Yes, from Artie.
Yes. So I'm assuming you're saying inspiration in hair, inspiration in my career. I'm assuming. I don't want to assume. So give me a little bit more details on what you want to know in terms of my inspiration.
Yeah, clear that up, Artie. Clear it up.
And we will answer.
Artie walking on that.
Right.
How was that experience like? You know, I always commend people who go to college and then they walk on. You know, I think it's, well, from my perspective, I feel like that's like, man, you gotta really want to really play, like you really love the game, and to make that step, because you know you're going against people who actually got scholarships to go to the school.
Right.
So, you know, it
Right.
makes it a lot more difficult. So like,
It was a lot more difficult. And I was older too. I had I averaged about 4 years over the girls that I was playing with. So because of the like they got scouted early, you know, like they're just fresh out of high school, and I was older in high school. And here in America, some of them finish at like 16. So I was 18 plus when I walked on. So I had 4 years over some of the girls on the team. So that in itself, and you know, in sports life, you know, those every year counts.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
you know, as a walk-on and then being older than everybody, it was rough. Like they expected more out of me. Like I didn't live in the volleyball apartment. Like I had my own apartment. I was out, you know, like I was already out of school. These young ladies had just gotten out. So, and this was some of their second year playing. So there was definitely an age gap and a maturity difference and stuff like that. So I walked on and ended up being captain for 2 years.
Oh, nice.
So it was cool. But like I said, school, it's necessary for some people. You know, they want to be a doctor. You can only be a doctor by going to school. You want to be a nurse. You can only be a nurse by going to school. You know, I knew I wanted to do hair from high school.
Okay.
I spent most of my time skipping in the vocational side.
What was the vocational class? Was it?
It was a cosmetology class.
Cosmetology, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So I could have gotten hours and everything like that. But again, for as bad as some of my school habits were, I still graduated with cords. I still, you know, had a high B average and all of that stuff. So my parents was like, you don't even try in school and your grades are so great.
Yeah.
Why would you waste that on just doing hair? So they didn't allow me to go to the vocational side. I had to stay on the academic side.
Was that tough on you?
Yes, I hated it. I hated it because even now I am very creative, artsy fartsy, you know, and I have a lot more discipline now because with age comes discipline. So, you know, there's things that you have to do, but because you want a certain end result. Like even now I'm taking a course because last year, you know, for Corona, they were giving away courses and certifications in these prestigious colleges. So I actually now am enrolled in a certification at Cornell just for the heck of it, just to keep my mind sharp and just do something that's a little bit more structured and regimented because I could color all day and be all right. You know, like I read a lot. So that's an outlet for me. My commute to work is really long. So I listen to books all the time. I probably get through two books a month most of the time.
That's a lot.
Just commuting to work. I just listen to them. And so I stay connected to higher learning, but to sit in a classroom and have assignments due and stuff, it's difficult for me.
I got you. So you more on the go type learning.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because I taught in a college for 5 years.
Man, should we be worried about the students or we should be confident in them?
You should be extra confident in any student that passed my class because I was a challenging student. I know all the tricks, and it's amazing how those tricks they still try them in college. But now it's different because they're older and there's legal ramifications. Like I used to teach at a technical college, and I taught all the boring stuff. I taught all the nerdy stuff. I taught chemistry, electricity, anatomy, and physiology.
Wow.
So all the boring stuff. But it was easy for me to teach it and put it into why you need this in the salon, why you need this in the barbershop. So that part was good to be able to merge the two. But it was difficult keeping the attention of people like me who don't want to hear about why electricity is important, who don't want to hear about, you know, matter and ions and chemistry in general. Yeah. So, but I always did activities because I'm so creative. I could think out of the box, like I know one of the things we did was do a party, like a food party, everybody bring in a food item. And we had like a party day. And it was talking about suspensions and miscible things that can mix and things that don't mix. So it didn't matter what they brought in, but they had to classify it in a chemistry terminology. So I always tried to find ways to keep everybody engaged. And I like games. I will crack jokes all day. So
yeah, that's true. That is true.
I guess I'm quiet, but if you're within 6 feet of me, you're gonna be rolling. Like I'm not a loud person, but I like to have fun. For sure.
You definitely got to have fun, especially in these times. You definitely got to have fun.
Yeah, last year challenged me a lot because, well, it felt like I couldn't work for 6 months, even though it was only maybe a month and a half. But in that time, I got bored. In that time, I got very, very bored. And I started doing things that I said I would never do.
Oh, wow.
Which was graphic design. Like I started creating logos. I built my own website. Like I started doing all kinds of stuff just to keep myself busy and to just challenge my brain because so much is going on in the world. It was a place where I could go, and because I'm learning something, it's a lot of research, it's a lot of bouncing back and forth, between the laptop and the iPad and my phone and, that kinds of stuff. So it kept me from really worrying and being stressed out about what's happening in our world.
That's good you did that, man. That's commendable, actually.
Stressful is what it is.
But
now I know what pixels are, so I'm proud of myself.
So that's one way you deal with stress is by learning.
Yes, and cooking. Staying busy.
That's pretty good.
Were you there when I was doing lives when I was cooking with my mom?
No, where was it on Facebook?
Uh-huh.
I do not be on Facebook like that. I hardly be on Facebook.
We just started one day. I just started cooking, and then it was like, oh, people really want to know like what we're doing, and then it kind of came into a thing.
I would definitely tune in because I always watch it. That's one channel I watch is the cooking channel. I watch the cooking channel.
Okay.
Yeah, I like watching bizarre foods and all that stuff. Like I love it.
Did you like Anthony Bourdain?
Yeah, I like Anthony Bourdain. Yeah, his show was good. I watch what's the other one name? It's on Vice. I forgot what it's called. I don't want to hold up the interview thinking about the show, but yeah, there's a few of them I watch. I watch Iron Chef, all that. I like
okay.
That. Yeah, so I would
Diners, Drive-In, and Dives is my thing.
That's a good show too. That's a good show. So I would have definitely tuned in with if you when you was doing it with your mom. That'd have been pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, it was really cool. Sometimes grandma would pop in to say her little two-piece about what I did not do right or what I did not do specifically to the Jamaican culture. Because I didn't really cook a lot of Crucian food. I cooked more Jamaican food.
Okay.
But I can make stuff in. I could make Crucian food, but I think I do a good mix of stuff because I'll bust out some lamb chops with seasoned rice. I'll definitely mix it up.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You always gotta switch it up with the food, So.
Yeah. It's a way that I get to still be creative.
That's true. So Artie cleared up his question. He was like, "What inspired Lauren here? Drive. What makes Lauren?"
Okay, the ability to create, it doesn't mean just I stay in hair only. Like I'm very creative in the way that I dress. People are always like, why your sleeves so big? Like why your jewelry have to be so,
Yeah.
So putting together an outfit, like if I know I'm going somewhere next month, I'm already thinking, like from the time I see the flyer or from the time I realize I want to go and do something, I'm planning what I'm going to wear, what am I going to do with my hair, because creating the look that I want to put out there is a creative process for me. So just the ability to create is what inspires me. And I feel like it's easy to get locked into a box, you know, like as a hairstylist, if I say I'm cooking something, people look at you side eye like, can you even cook? You know, because they only see you as a hairstylist.
Yes, I got you, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they lock you into this one thing that you can do. And we see it all the time, even with celebrities. You know, actors and actresses, they'll start talking about political stuff and people will be like, oh, shut up, all you do is act. And it's like, but they're human.
Yeah.
They're allowed to have more than one interest, and they're allowed to be good at more than one thing. So if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And I was always taught to do it with excellence. So if I'm going to do it, it's going to look like a professional did it, you know, and I want to make sure that, so that's how I am even in my cooking, just even cooking for the family. Sometimes I'll get these ideas and these recipes on what I want to do when I go to the store. I love the grocery store. It's weird, but I love the grocery store. And
that's the spot
I go up and down each aisle, making sure I have the right ingredient. And, you know, because just creating this meal makes my heart full. So any time that I kind of get to pour myself into something, it's very inspirational. That's what keeps me motivated. When I get bored or when I get stressed, like you say, I keep busy. I find something else to pour myself into. And to be honest, I've started so many businesses. I've helped so many people start their businesses. But the creative process is what excites me. I don't care if I make $1 most of the time. It's just being able to start something and see something grow from nothing to something is what keeps me going. I have all kinds of ideas of things that I'm even working on now. But creating that is what makes it fun for me to get up every day. So yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. So your creation is pretty much you inspiring too, because like you said, you know, it's not even all about money. You're willing to help people start new businesses.
Yeah.
Like that. So you definitely inspiring with your creativity. Do you oh, sorry to interrupt.
No.
Do you see your your creativity, so like you said like cooking and doing, you know, hair and stuff like, do you feel like your creativity pretty much represents who you are, so you want to do it to your fullest and best ability? Because if the person is not satisfied, you know, they view you out a different way.
Yeah, that's one thing with artwork, because I think of hair as art. I think of, you know, plating of food to give to someone as art. You know, I want it to be colorful. I want, you know, I want the meat to be brown. I want the rice to be fluffy. You know, like there's things and that I put my heart and soul into, make sure that it's right. So, but the thing with art is you love it, but when you give it to someone, whether I finish a hairstyle, whether I dress someone, whether I do their makeup, whether I cook them food, I want them to enjoy it as much as I enjoyed creating it. And sometimes it doesn't happen. You know, sometimes I have a guest that's not happy with their hair, or, you know, in less time that it should, the hairstyle doesn't last or hold the way that I said it would, or, you know, there's disappointment for sure. And that's why, to be honest, that's why a lot of artists are very high strung. They're very stressed out. And it's because what they create, they want people to enjoy. So that pressure of always creating the right thing, or always being on target of what's coming, what anticipating people's needs, you know, that kind of pressure. If you really absorb that all the time, you'll lose the beauty of the creation, and you're just going to be working for a check. You know, you're going to be working not because you love it, but because you're trying to please and make sure that everybody accepts your artwork. So it is very personal. Like when I do someone's hair, It's a very personal and intimate experience. You know, everybody likes their hair parted a little bit differently. So I take pride in remembering, okay, Mary B likes it on the left, Susie A likes it on the right. You know, like I try to remember those little details and to make them feel special and create something that I know they will enjoy, because I remember they like this one, like it this way, and this other person likes it a different way. So yeah, I take it very personal.
Man, you dropping some gems right there, man. That was some good information. Definitely, yeah. I never really looked at it from that perspective, like that deep. So for you to really explain, like it really opened up my eyes even more. You know.
Yeah,
we have
that's
a question.
why artwork sometimes is so like deep and dark. You know, because even like with this whole, okay, for instance, look at this whole devil shoe thing, right?
Yeah.
You heard about it, right?
Yeah.
So from what I have overheard is it's actually him talking about the pressures of Christianity on the LGBTQ community. Like that's what it is. That's the premise of the song. That deep, dark thing is to express that. That's how he chose to express that. So obviously there's, you know, big outrage and everything about how he decided to showcase that. But that's just an example of where someone's artwork is, you know, misinterpreted or not really received well by whoever they're trying to. And to be quite honest, there's a lot of people that 100% support him because of the message he's trying to portray, because they too, you know, were cast out by Christians or their family or churches or, you know, whatever the case may be. Their devil, you know, they were cast out. So even though I don't necessarily agree with his approach, we live in the land of the free. That's kind of the downside of being in the land of the free. You kind of get to do whatever you want to do. There's not very many rules. You can always kind of circumvent the rules. And, you know, if you really know how, you can not be guilty, even though you're guilty. Case in point, with what's happening with the trial that's going on right now. It's a video of somebody getting murdered, and you still have to prove that it was murder because we're in the land of the free. Yeah. So if you take that back to artistry, that's why, yeah, you could hate that he did it. You could hate that he used that interpretation, but he can if he wants to.
I'm laughing because you absolutely 100% right. You know, it's true. Like how you just explained it, you know, you're right. It's just that we live in a society where, you know, it's like if the masses don't agree with something, they're definitely gonna, you know. So yeah, if you really think about it, if you really sit down and really meditate and really think about it, it's kind of like messed up.
It's very messed up.
Yeah, because the rule they moved the rule, you know, the rules, and they changed the rules to different circumstances.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like the target is always moving. You never really know what the right thing to do is because it changes case by case, person by person, city and state. You know, things are different. Things are different. So there's not one answer. There's not one right. There's not one wrong. There's tens of thousands of ways to do something. So it's a positive as well, because he said he was selling 666 pairs and they sold out, you know, that kind of way. So there's always a market for whatever it is that you are passionate about, whatever it is that you want to create, whatever it is that you want to do. You just have to be okay with people not liking it. And that's why most people don't start.
Most important thing. Yep.
Yeah. That's why most people don't start, because nobody wants to be told like that hairstyle is ugly, or, you know, and then we compare to what's out there and you're like, yeah, no, that's not good enough. Yeah, that's true. And I struggle with that too. Like, I'm not above it at all by any means, but, you know, there's ways that I have people that push me that are like, you're being kind of unbrave right now. You know, you're not being your best self by holding out on what you can offer. That's
true. I'm going to get to this question. This is a question from Sheldon, and he asks, what was it like for you to move to the Virgin Islands as a child? How did you acclimate to rebuilding a new life in St. Croix, from building new friendships and developing your social identity, social cultural identity?
It was difficult. It was very difficult. First off, and I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, but when you're tall, smart, and pretty and talented, it's very hard to make friends. It just is. As a female, it's very hard to make friends.
Yeah.
Most people hate you just because of the way you look. And then teacher calling you and you know the answer every friggin' time. You and them linemen in the hallway, they gain zeros on tests, you still pass them with flying colors. So after a while, people don't like you. And then, of course, that's the age of hormones and all that stuff. So, boys is looking and, that kind of stuff. So it's like, oh, well, they passing in the hallway and they hearing people talking about me and, whatever way that boys talk about girls. And it was difficult. I had a few people that got to know me and they started spreading the good word, like, no. She's not this. She's not. And then, of course, I didn't have an accent. I didn't have the same accent when I moved there.
Yeah.
So that in itself was like a red flag of she thinks she's better or, whatever. So my first year was rough. I wanted to come back. I didn't want to stay. I thought everything was beautiful. And then my parents were pretty popular too. So that didn't help. Like we were on front page of the paper when we came. Those types of things don't really help you fit in. It doesn't really help. But
that's true.
By the time I got, by the next year and stuff like that, everything was fine. And I had some hiccups along the way, but for the most part, I'm the same person today as I was then in terms of just easygoing. I'm very social, like chill. I like to joke. I'm still very precise though. Like I still write only on this side of the paper. I still only highlight in this certain color. Wow. I still have my own. I'm still that same person. Everything is still funny. Really neat and whatever. But it's just different as you grow into an adult. Like you organize a closet differently. You have different roles. So I'm still very rigid in a lot of ways, the same way I was back then.
Yeah.
But in terms of my personality, people tell me all the time, like, you are the same from high school. Like you don't take life seriously, Meanwhile, I work every day, So I do take life seriously, but there's only a couple things that who said Lauren is Lauren. That's very true.
That's Andrea. That's Andrea.
But life. There's a few things in life that really like can shake me up and make me be like, all right, you have to be an adult today, But it's not very many. Not very many. Well, that was a really good question.
That was a really, really good question indeed.
Yeah.
But that's good. That's the way how you enjoy life, and I think that's the way life should be. Just being free and just just living.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that's what kind of made a few people not like me is I've never really conformed. So if I don't want to do it, I will die not doing it. And I'm not going to make a fuss. I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to scream. I'm going to say no. And I mean it just as much as anybody who wants to yell or fight about it. I don't feel like it takes that much to get your point across or anything like that. So.
Yeah, that's true. You have a choice,
Yeah. And I think I learned that at a very young age that I can say no and still be a good person. I could not want to do something and still have friends. I didn't feel like I had to do everything everybody else was doing. And, I didn't really feel a lot of social pressures to fit in because I made my own path, like I chose to play sports. But then for what year was it? My senior year, I decided to, was it my senior year? No, I think it was my junior year. Tried out for the basketball team. Everything was great. I've always, been on a starting five. Like I never suck bench. I would like to put that out there. I have cutouts and clippings like everybody else. But I decided, I don't want to play basketball. I'm going to run the school pageant instead. Coach was pissed, but I was like, I only get to do it once. So that's what I'm going to do. And I dropped off. I quit the team. And went and ran in the school pageant. And that was the year Cleantha and I took everything. Like nobody won anything else except second runner-up and third runner-up. Cleantha won, and then I had first runner-up. And between the two of us, we had all the other stuff. Best this, best that, best talent, all of that.
Yeah, you guys was cleaning up. I remember. That's true.
Yeah, we cleaned up. And my talent was a comedy skit. Like, because that's who I am as a person, wow. Like that was my talent, was to do a comedy skit.
That's that's Mountain hitting you up.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, that's Mountain. So I'm gonna be looking up because I'm gonna be right because towards the ending of the show I usually have like some quick hitters. I call it Moomba's quick hitters. So it's just gonna be some random questions and stuff. So if you see me looking down, I'm writing.
No worries.
While I listen to you tell your story and we having conversation, I kind of write down
jotting stuff down.
Questions that I would like to ask you.
I'm good on time, so we can go. I'm good on time.
Okay.
I don't hear any kids yelling or nothing, so we'll keep going.
Okay. So so let's talk about you going how you get started going into into hair and how you become a business owner, and we just move from there.
Okay, so I started braiding my teammates' hair. Like that's kind of when I knew that I had a knack for it.
Okay.
But even at the house, like a knack for other people, because even at the house, I always styled my hair. Like, even for my contestant pictures for the pageant, I did my own hair, and there's been many major events during school, class night, all those things. I always did my own hair and makeup.
Yeah.
Even though I did go to the salon often, I still always did things at home. And it came to a point where my mom was like, well, you can go to the salon every 3 months just to make sure, you get your ends, like the things that I couldn't do on my own. And another true story that a lot of people don't know is my hair actually fell out in my senior year. Like I lost my hair. Who said I speak my mind? My hair fell out in my senior year.
Robert Hunt.
So I didn't know I had an allergy to one of the ingredients in permanent hair color. So when it was mixed with the relaxer that I was getting, my hair came out. And people thought like I was turning Ross and all these other things because I started to tie my head. And there was people that, teased me and stuff like that. People thought I was trying to copy them and, all these other things because I started to tie my hair. And really it was because I didn't have any hair. And most people in your senior year realizing like, oh, shoot, I don't have, like my hair literally was like, it was gone. It couldn't grip, like nothing.
That's
so
crazy.
I had to literally wrap my hair for a couple months for it to even grow out enough so that way I could braid it. And like my prom pictures and everything is with me and having micro braids. And me and my friend Kathy, everybody knows Kathy, we braided my hair like on the front porch because I had to go to prom. And I literally had maybe a pinky's length worth of hair on my whole head at that time. Wow. So being able to decide to just chop everything that was left and figure out what to do with my hair kind of birthed this thing in me. Like, I really can take care of hair. Like, this is really what I want to do. And like I said, even braiding people down during lunchtime and that kinds of stuff to make sure we was good for our games later on. And that's kind of where it started. So like I said, I did go to college, but I went for a degree in education. Because it just, I don't mind teaching. So I went for a degree in education and then I still dropped out, and my parents ended up helping me pay for hair school because I was like, I'm going to be a bum if y'all don't let me go to hair school. Like, I'm not going to do anything in life if y'all don't let me go to hair school. And I ended up valedictorian in my class.
Oh, nice,
And I
nice.
actually graduated early from hair school. I challenged the state so I didn't have to complete all the hours because I don't like school. So I preferred to get everything that I needed done and challenge the state to be able to get my license earlier so I could work. So from there, I don't think I never wanted to be an owner. Let's just put that out there. I never wanted to be an owner. I always thought of myself as great support. I've always been a loyal friend, very dependable. If I say I'm going, those types of things. So I always wanted to, build somebody else's business, be a good support to somebody else.
Yeah.
Be the employee that nobody could ever find, like work my way up the ranks and that kind of thing. But I never wanted to own my own space. And I fought it for a long, long, long time.
Wow.
Like, fought. I just moved into my own space last year during the pandemic because I was kicked out of the salon that I was working in.
What? That's crazy. No.
Yeah. And it was because she's an owner, but I have my own S Corp even working under her. Like I have my own business even though I work under her. So you wasn't going to little girl me and talk to me any kind of way every day, all day, and just like wasn't really going to happen. Yeah. So as professionally and intelligently as I could, we had some discussions, and Rona was kind of her way of being able to let me go without the guilt, I guess.
Yeah, but I got you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
She found an easy way and she took advantage of that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But I always land on my feet. I'm very resourceful. So I had already started looking at places and thinking about things that I wanted to do. And so I'm going to share a really deep story with you all. So I was fighting this whole be a business owner, move into my own space, take charge of my career. Yeah. Fought it. And like I said, worked for somebody who I knew didn't like me just to not go out on my own. And it was coming a point in time when I started looking for other options that I was like unsure of myself, unsure of where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do. All I know is that I want to do hair and I'm good at it, So I started asking God for a sign, like, one of them, like the burning bush, it's like, Lord, if you don't want me to do this, like just light this bush on fire and I won't go, Yeah. So I started asking God, like, okay, what can I do? So I was reading a book at the time, and she always talked about when she needed a sign, she would always ask for a type of animal, like show me this type of animal. If I keep seeing this animal, I'm going to know that this is a yes. And that's kind of how, she made her decisions. So I was like, I'm going to try it. Worst that could happen is I'm going to see something, like whatever, I'm good. So I asked to see an owl. I ain't never really seen an owl. Like, I'm not outside looking up for owls. Like, that's not really my thing. I'm not a nature watcher, Yeah. So I just knew. I tried to pick, I would have said dinosaur, like just because I was running from it so bad, like I wanted to make sure to pick something that I knew I wasn't going to see. So one day I was texting and I went in my phone and my phone froze on an owl emoji. I never even knew there was an owl emoji.
Wow.
Did you know there was an owl emoji?
No, I even said no. I'm still trying to find out when is the proper way to use, the emojis and stuff like that. So I definitely don't know. So
not only did I not know there was an owl emoji, but my phone froze on it. Like I never touched it. I wasn't looking for an owl. I am avoiding owls because I don't want to go out on my own. So that's not something I would want. And my phone froze.
That's crazy.
On an owl emoji. And I'm like, oh, so God, you got jokes. So I don't have to look up in the sky. You done froze my phone. Like, that's what we're doing? Okay. All right. So all of that happened before it was time for us to go back to work. So I already knew that I needed to start my exit strategy. So work opened up on a Monday, and I didn't go in till Thursday because I normally don't, with homeschooling and all that stuff. I went in Thursday afternoon to get myself ready for Friday. So I go into dust, clean, organize, make sure my stuff is good for Friday.
Yeah.
And there was a letter on my mirror. I paid no attention because I had talked to her that week. We had a staff meeting and all that other stuff. So I felt like maybe this was just, minutes from the staff meeting. I didn't pay it no mind. So I'm dusting, cleaning, wiping, polishing, making sure everything is good. And right before I left, I just took the note off my station, dropped it in my purse. And as I was walking out, I realized all my business cards were not at the front desk. So I was like, she's so petty. Like, why is she always moving my stuff? Like, this lady is just harassing my nerves and whatever. So I go back to my station, being my adult self, and I get a big stack and I put it in the front like, see you tomorrow, not realizing the paper in my purse was the termination of my lease. Wow. So I didn't open the letter. I'm driving home. I call one of my best friends and I'm like, she's so petty. Da-da-da-da-da. I can't believe she's always doing this passive aggressive stuff, Yeah. The words out my mouth was, God gonna have to write it in the sky for me to leave. Meanwhile, it's in my purse. It is literally in my purse. But I didn't open the letter because I didn't think it was anything of importance.
Yeah. So
I drive all the way home. I tell my mom about how petty she is about moving my business cards. All the meanwhile, the lady was moving me out. I was gone to her. She was waiting for me to come,
This is crazy. This is a crazy, funny story. This is funny.
Look. So again, still, I didn't pay attention. I went home, tell my mom, went to sleep. I woke up the next day and I was like, what if we have a new uniform or something? Let me open this letter. So the day I going back to work, the first day after Corona, I opened this letter. It's 10 something. My first client is at 12:30. And it said termination of my lease. So I'm like, well, damn, I'm glad I opened it before I got in the car.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Perfect timing.
What now? So I called my backup plan, which is where I'm working now. And I'm like, hey, can I just borrow it for the weekend? Because I still stubborn, I still don't want to make that jump.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'll borrow it for the weekend. Let me just get through the first weekend that we're allowed back after 6 weeks. I'll figure it out by next weekend. She's like, okay, cool. No pressure, whatever. I call back my mom to tell her this ugly lady did to me, and I had to call my clients change of plans. I'm going to have to reschedule y'all for the rest of the weekend. I got to figure today out. And by the time I got to the salon, I had empty suitcases. I pack up all my stuff. I went straight over to the place where I am now. And I just signed the lease. I said, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay the rent, but I'm going to sign the lease anyway, because I get an owl. I got the writing. What more could I ask for in a sign of you need to jump?
Yeah.
So I've made rent every week since May 14th. I've made rent every week. But to answer anyone's questions on what made me the decision to become my own boss, I got kicked out and I had to land on my feet. And that was it. And I was very stubborn in the process, to the point where I literally had to be booted out to do what I knew that I was supposed to do.
Yeah. The good thing is that you're honest with yourself, though.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But I also believe that if I had stepped out sooner, it wouldn't have been right. The place where I work now wasn't scheduled to open until last year, April. But because of Corona, it opened on May 11th, which was the day that I got my letter to be kicked out.
Oh, that's perfect timing.
Right. So, timing is everything. And sometimes because I didn't move, I got kicked out at the time that I needed to move, because I would have still been arguing with this lady to this day about things in the shop,
Yeah.
So, but if I had left earlier, I wouldn't be in the spot where I am now. So I feel like it did work out, but I am trying to trust myself more. That was my learn from that whole experience, is to just trust myself more. And when I know things aren't right, and I know that I need to be moving in a different direction, to trust my capabilities and being able to do it. I always preach dream big, but I will get caught in my safe space like everybody else. So my learn was definitely to trust myself a lot more. And I'm, selling myself short, staying behind, because if it was up to me, I don't have a big social media following, but my chair is full. I'm booked 4 to 6 weeks out from referrals. So my business is fine, but putting myself out on social media and stuff like that is a box that I'm trying to shatter, because I stay to myself. People know me. A lot of people know me, but not because I'm on social media. Like they know me because they see me walk into a room and, people talk and whatever. I would like to say that everything you heard about me is true. I don't know, but.
You just messed me up when you said that. But what I was gonna say is that you don't want people to, because okay, for instance, like you said with social media, they see you but they don't really know you.
Correct.
And you
Correct.
Right. You want people to you want people to know you and appreciate you for who you are, not for
Correct.
not for how you look, or
Correct.
that way, because that's the only way they want to see you, is because your looks and social media. So
I mean, I've had people tell me, if you make an OnlyFans, it will, increase your hair business. You need to show more your body online. Like people tell me this all the time. And this is coming from men and women. And this is coming from professionals. It's not even like trashy people or anything like that, but just people trying to say, if you used your face more, if you used your body more, if you, talk to yourself on screen more, people will relate to you better, and you could grow your online following. And I'm like, my clients can't get in now. It's difficult for them to get in now, and I'm grateful that that's the case. But I was never one to show my butt. I just wasn't. That's not me as a person. If I'm out and about and I feel like wearing something, then I'll wear it. But you don't hardly ever see me post pictures of myself or anything like that. You might see me tagged in a lot of stuff. So, people keep up with me that way. But that's just not my personality. And to avoid anyone thinking that that is my personality, I just never got into it. And I don't know if I ever will.
Yeah. It goes back, excuse me. It goes back to what you were saying earlier about your creativity and your creation, because it's like, and this is from my perspective, so I could be totally wrong, but it's like you're like you don't want people to fall in love for your work because of how you look. You want people to fall in love for your work because of your work. So like when you said that you don't post pictures of yourself on social media. You post your work, so people will be attracted to your work, know, and then they'll gravitate to you because they appreciate your work. Instead of them like, she's attractive, she looks good, and they appreciate your work because how you look instead of your work. That's how I take it.
Absolutely. And that's perfect. That's exactly, that's always been my thing. Like, there's more to me than what I look like. And naturally, that's the first thing you see in anybody is what they look like, and so we always try to put our best foot forward. We always want to make sure that, we're doing the best that we can with whatever shape we have, with whatever hair we have, whatever the case may be. We always just want to make sure that we're feeling good and, that kinds of stuff. But if I put on a pair of heels, I'm over 6 feet. So it's hard not to see me, you know, like
That's true. Yeah.
it's difficult. I'm in most of my shoes, I'm 6'1"
Yeah.
because I'm naturally
Tall.
tall. I'm almost 5'10". So it's very easy to get lost in just the fact that I'm so tall.
Yeah.
And I don't know. My mother always instilled in me, like, you're not just gonna be a pretty face. You're not gonna just be a pretty face. You're not gonna just be a pretty face.
Yeah.
And it actually took me a very, very, very long time to even talk about my talents or talk about anything that I can do well. Because the minute you say you could do something well and people find you attractive, all of a sudden you bossy, you this, you're arrogant, you know, you're stush, you're stuck up, you're this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And I am so far from that. So in a way, I have always, which is why I was always more comfy behind the scenes. People expect me to be in the front. So I always wanted to just be chill, be behind the scenes, be seen and not heard. And the people that need to know that I'm influential, they know. Who else don't know? Doesn't matter. I got paid for it and I'm good. But in the past few years, I've really had to fight that and fight the urge to shy away and dumb down what I know, or not speak highly of myself, or, you know, anything like that, for fear that somebody's going to think I'm arrogant, or someone's going to think I feel better than them, or something like that. And that has been a struggle. I would say from probably high school to now, you know. So that's something that I was diligently working on last year, is to be able to walk into a room and tell myself, Lauren, you don't need to puff up, you don't need to shrink, but you do need to be yourself. And if myself just happens to be great, then that's what I need to be. And be okay with who don't like it, who like it, you know, gravitate toward the people that gravitate toward me, and just let the rest be what it is.
Yeah, that's important. I could talk to you on this topic for, you know, for a very long time, but we have some questions. I'm gonna get to the viewer questions.
Yes, because I can't see. I wear glasses. You see me doing this all the time.
I know,
I'm trying to make the screen, and I still can't see it. So please do.
So we have a question here from Carrie-Ann. When and why did you make the decision to become your own boss? I think you answered that. And
yes.
How are you handling being a business owner in the light of the pandemic?
I like the second part of that question. So I didn't think that it would take a global tragedy to make me decide to step out on faith. But I like to go big or go home. So I guess if it took a global pandemic to make me show up for myself and to bet on myself, you know, I'll forever be grateful to Rona for that. It hasn't presented a lot of challenges for me at this point, because people getting free money and stuff like that now. And even last year, on, you know, people on unemployment, people doing these Zoom calls and stuff like that, they still needed to be ready for work. So I can say my business has actually grown because of this, as opposed to me not doing well. And I can rest assured that a lot of business owners have grown as opposed to not doing well. You have to be, this is where people's creativity has come out. You know, what can I do to still keep people engaged? What can I do to still make people want to come get their hair done? Like, what can I do when they get these stimmies and, you know, get unemployment and all the other benefits that we've been able to get over the last year?
Yeah.
Why they would choose to spend that money with me. I learned a long time ago that hair is a luxury. I am a luxury service. My industry is a luxury service. The price that people pay to sit in my chair makes me even a higher end luxury service. You know, I'm definitely not the and no shade, but I'm definitely not the pay less pocketbook of my industry. I'm not quite Chanel, but we are very much in Millennium Mall. You will not find me in a strip mall, you know, based on my prices. So I love Ross, I love Marshalls, don't get me wrong, but in terms of my hair prices, that's not where I live.
Yeah.
So me personally, somebody dropping $300 on a hairstyle that they're going to need maintained in 2 weeks for another 150, like that's a lot of money in a month. What made me worth it? And really navigating through what my professionalism should look like, what my services should entail, what product do I need to upgrade to make sure that I stand behind my product, my end result. You know, their hair has to feel better. They have to see improvement. The style has to last. You know, like I have to keep the integrity of my business. And I didn't pay a lot attention to that prior to Corona. But now that's the forefront of what I do, making sure that when they sit in my chair, it's an experience that makes them want to tell 15 other people. So
yeah, with that mentality, you're always gonna win.
Yeah, I have to. I'm telling you, I will bounce on my feet. I will always land on my feet for sure. I've been that way my whole life.
Yeah.
I will always land on my feet, but I know what it takes to do that. You know, like I'm definitely not a lazy person in that sense. So I've had 3 jobs and a kid, you know, to make sure that now, if you could get me in the salon 5 days a week, you're doing a lot. Like my schedule is 4 days. 2 of those are half days.
Okay.
Because I have a child.
Yeah.
And that to me is worth more than anything.
That's
So
that's very true.
I am able to make a full-time living working roughly 3 to 3.5 days a week. I love it. Everyone should do it.
So we have a question here from Artie. Any
Yes.
parts of your life did you ever hit rock bottom? Also, are you left-handed? The question stems from your level of creativity.
Okay, so I'll do the easy one first.
Yeah.
I am right-handed. Yeah, I'm right-handed.
You could tell us from a left-handed person that asked the question.
No, we are not the same, sir. Sorry. I am not one of you.
Big up, Patty. Big up.
But my rock bottom, oh, this is deep. So I have hit rock bottom, financially, emotionally, all those things. So we'll go with the financially rock bottom. Messing with dudes. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. You know, trying to help someone else, you know, kind of got me in a situation where, you know, I gave too much and reserved nothing for myself because I'm a hustler. So I know, like, if I have $10, we have $10. And if you waste my $10, I lied because I really had 15, so I still got 5. You know, like I'm always thinking steps ahead. Yeah. So, you know, but in that moment, I didn't. And a lot of things happened. And next thing you know, like I have 0, I have nothing to my name, and I had to build myself back up. After I built myself back up and everything was good, then romantically, a relationship ended and I was not the same after. I was not the same person. I had gotten depressed, and building myself back from that, I had to basically create a whole new person. I had to decide what I was going to tolerate, you know, and what I wasn't going to do, who I wanted to be, who I was never going back to. You know, I'm so grateful for my friends, Sheena being one of them. Y'all see her on Wednesday. You know, getting me back to a better place mentally, introducing me to new things and new people, and just trying to get me back to the person that she knew in high school. So yeah, I've definitely hit rock bottom. But from then to now, it's been a lot of reading, a lot of self-discovery. I am not a crier by any means, but every once in a while, you know, I'll be driving down my car and I'll turn on, you know, 20 minutes of affirmations, and you can't help but get emotional. When you think about, you know, I am worthy, you have to think about the times where you didn't feel worthy. So now to be able to confidently say I am worthy and feel like, yeah, I'm starting my day, I'm worthy, you know, you can get teary-eyed from it. So I do a lot of that now just to keep myself in a good space. Because life happens to everybody and life happens every day, you know, and there are days that I don't feel like being a business owner. There are days that I get more cancellations than my bills allow, you know, so there are scary times all the time. But if I'm only strong in the good times, then that doesn't really make for a strong person altogether. So, you know, there's challenge. Let me be real. I didn't even want to do this. I completely forgot that I had to do it because I've had a really bad 2 weeks. Emotionally, I've had a really bad 2 weeks, and I'm thinking, how the hell I'm gonna go on this thing and not just boohoo cry all, you know, like, because I'm so emotional. But it's actually been really good to just kind of get my mind off of what was sucking life out of me and to just be chill and be myself because I haven't felt like myself. So this has actually been really good because I am in a downswing sitting here right now talking to you all. So, you know, we're all going through things all the time. But when Mumba was like, hey, we still on for Monday? I looked at it, I inhaled, I said a couple affirmations, and I said, yeah, sure. And I said it confidently, like, yeah, like, why you even calling me? I was gonna call you, you know? But that wasn't, that's not how I felt until the camera started rolling. That I didn't feel, even when we were prepping and all that stuff, I was like, what am I doing here? I should be drinking vodka, you know, like you know, I wasn't okay, you know, but this actually is helping to just talk about my journey and just remind myself, like, I ain't a sucker, you know?
I honestly, I really appreciate you being honest. Honestly, I definitely appreciate you being honest, you know. We have had a lot of people on the show and they have really, really expressed themselves, you know. A lot of people have opened up to us and stuff. And, you know, I appreciate you just, you know, sharing that with us. You know, I think and I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who it was, and I feel like this, you know, what we do sometimes help the individual, you know, kind of just, you know, relax and sit back and just kind of just talk about stuff, you know, and get stuff out, you know, because I feel like just talking to someone is important with a lot of, anytime you're going through stuff, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is very therapeutic, and not even having to talk about anything that's going on. It's just still very therapeutic.
Yeah, because we kind of give you the flow for you to just talk about you, and we're here just to listen, you know.
Which is very uncomfy for me. That in itself is very uncomfy for me to be talking about myself. Yeah. Because, like I said, I'm still retraining myself to not think negatively about being proud of myself, you know? So I always laugh when people are like, you know, I want to hear about you. And I'm like, well, ain't really much to hear. Like, I'm here, I do hair, that's about it, you know? But that's not the truth. That's not the truth at all. It's not the truth at all. You know, I saw part of a good question, but like I said, I can't see it. But
yeah, let me go back. I'll go back to the question. This one was from Sheldon. What gave you the idea or inspiration to write a beauty instructional publication? Can you share your thoughts on your recently published book?
Okay, so again, that's one of the things that I'm having a hard time even talking about. So like I said, last year I was, you know, tinkering on the computer and stuff like that. And I decided I was going to self-publish a book. I've always been a writer. Like, English literature has always been very easy for me. And I really love to read. So it was cool. And I decided, after teaching on the collegiate level and coming into the industry, I've actually been licensed for 14 years. So I've seen so much. I've done a lot in the industry. Yeah. And there's still so many gaps where people don't have information. They don't know things. And being from the Caribbean, we have less resources. So I wanted to do something that's easy, that people can have all the time, because we live in a very digital world, but there are many people that still like books. There are still people that don't have access to internet, regularly. Like, people, especially in the like further down, they have B Mobile and all them kind of things. That's, not as great as some of us who are in the US and US territories. And we even know our struggles with the, even in a US territory. So I wanted to give something to the Caribbean. And that was my intent, was to have it so that way it will be able to go into the Caribbean easily. And for anyone, a lot of people don't know is, in the Caribbean, a lot of islands, you don't need a license to do hair. That's like an American thing. That's a European thing. That's not a Caribbean thing. You sit under somebody and you apprentice and you learn what they know. So if they didn't know everything, you don't learn, and internet is good, but sometimes you need a textbook. You need something you can refer back to. You need something you can write some notes in, that kinds of stuff. So my mom was always telling me, like, you need to write a book. You need to write your story. You need to do something. And writing a whole book just never really spoke to me. And one day it just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, you should make workbooks for what you like to do in the salon. Things that people can use and have. And it's so crazy because I'm sitting here now and I don't even have a copy here with me. But it is on Amazon. But I decided I started.
Sorry to interrupt. I apologize. So I don't forget. Make sure you text me that information so I could definitely promote it.
Okay, we'll do.
Our shows, yeah.
Will do. So I just wanted something that was a little bit more tangible. So, like I said, I was playing around on the computer. I built my website, and it was just making things. Any of my friends wanted a business card or something, like, oh, let me try. Like just tinkering around. And then I was like, well, shoot, I could make my own workbook. Like, I could do my own thing. So I went on there and I started, I got a template and I overhauled the template. I just needed to kind of see what something looked like, to kind of have an idea of placement, and because I was still learning. And templates are amazing. Make them your own, but templates are amazing. So yeah, I self-published a workbook. It is interactive, awesome, because there are QR codes in the workbook. So it's not just paper. You do have that element of get on the internet. And that's where you see like the demonstrations. That's how you see the demonstrations for the workbook. So if I talk about shampooing, on the shampoo page, there's going to be a QR code. You put your phone up to it, use your camera and all that good stuff, and it'll pop you up to my private YouTube, because I do have I have the space, but I don't have a public YouTube. But my tutorials for my workbooks are housed in the private side of my YouTube. So the QR code, and it'll take you to a demonstration of a shampoo and whatever process we're going through. I am working on the second one. So the first one is a silk press, which is basically a, blow dry flat iron in a fancy way. And then the second one that I'm working on is a relaxer. So that one's a little deeper because it does have the chemistry in it, and it does have a few more elements about like the hair structure and those types of things. So I want to make sure I'm not giving too much information, but I also want to make sure that everyone is getting enough information if they've never really dove into chemistry before. So yeah.
That's awesome.
But it's there, it's available.
So I'll get to Al Baptiste's question.
Yes.
And you speak with confidence, believe in your abilities, and have a good track record. Why don't you trust yourself? Let your conscience be your guide. Do not overexpose yourself. Let your work speak.
So it's one of those things, like if you make a couple bad decisions, you start being unsure of all of your decisions, not just in one area of your life, but in every area of your life, and every artist has a downswing where they just can't create, they're just stuck. You have writer's block, you have mental block, you just, everything you do in the salon is wrong. You get a lot of complaints, and, So we have these moments of downswings and upswings, hills and valleys. So going through that for 14 years of hills and valleys, there are times where you're like, I did try that a few years ago, didn't work out so well. Do I really want to do that again? Or I've never done this before, i.e. building websites, those types of things, making a workbook that quite frankly, nobody really seems to want, like you start thinking like, did I even make the right choice? Was this a good idea? So sometimes you do things and you don't get that instant gratification.
Yeah.
So when it's time to try something else, you're like, I don't think it's going to work. I tried something 3 weeks ago, so it can keep you locked into a safe space. But I have moments of like, do or die. I'm going to do it now, and I'm all in and I'll do it and just be like, all right, whatever happens, happens. If it explodes, it explodes. If it plants, it plants, we'll see and we'll move on. And the workbook was actually one of those things for me is, I'm going to do it. If they don't like it, that's fine. But I spend a lot of my days, the days that I'm not at work, composing emails and just cold emailing companies, artists, people. And if I tell y'all how many people don't respond, you would probably be like, you know what, you're right. You probably shouldn't do it ever again.
That's funny. What's funny? I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I'm exactly the same way. I'm dead serious. For me, it's because I care so much in what I do, and if I don't see any type of appreciation, it's like I just like, you know what?
You're like, that's it. I'm not doing it.
I'm 100%. I'm the same way. I'm totally the same way. So I definitely see from your perspective, So I definitely understand.
Yeah, I mean, they say it takes 15, 20 years to be an overnight success, and I just keep looking at my watch like, all right, I'm bucking on year 15. Like, what? When is the break? When is the big break? I've worked for major companies and nothing, no response, to the point where I just leave. Like, well, since y'all not doing, so it's great to have on my resume. I have some big names on my resume, but it hasn't done anything for me in terms of that financial payoff, that big break, the celeb clientele, that hasn't happened for me yet.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen for everyone. But I know it's supposed to happen to me. And that took me a long time to accept as well, because when you're a person that wants to shy away from attention and you get nothing but signs that you're supposed to get the attention, it's a conflict. It's an internal conflict. Every decision you make is, well, I don't really want the attention, but if I don't do it, I'm not going to get the big picture that I'm praying for, that I'm hoping for, that I'm trying to manifest. So I think that's where the push and pull for me is letting go of what I think it's supposed to be and doing what I'm supposed to do to let it be.
And let it be, yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
For sure.
But the most important thing is that you are honest with yourself. So and you're not.
I'm brutally honest with everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true too. So, but from the viewers watching and from the chat, a lot of people is inspired. They're loving the information you're giving out. They're sending positive messages and everything. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so that's good.
I needed it today. Send them tomorrow too, even though I'm not on. Send them tomorrow too, because I'm gonna need it tomorrow.
So, but I definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you sharing that with us. So I mean, with your who you are and how your heart is shaped, you definitely gonna win no matter what. You're always gonna win.
I have to believe that. Yeah. I truly have to believe that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it makes for a very difficult day. It makes for a very difficult day if you feel like you're going for no reason.
Yeah. That's true.
I'd rather hype myself up, I'd rather hype myself up and be my own hype man and go into work every day feeling like, I'm glowing, because on the day that I can't show up, on the day that I'm no longer here, it's going to be great vibes, whether I made it to that finish line that I had in my mind or not, so it's hard to do every day. I'm generally a pretty bubbly, chill kind of person, but there are days that I don't feel like it. I don't have any good advice for anyone. I'm learning more so now than ever because of the overall global emotional climate that we're in.
Yeah.
That my job is heavy. My job is very, very heavy. The stories that people come in with and sit in my chair, hair is very emotional. So, Coco Chanel was like, hey, if a lady cut off all her hair, she's about to change her life. That's a very famous quote. And it's very true. When women come in for a change, a lot of women neglected their hair for 5 or 6 months. So I was the first person they saw. And they're embarrassed to come in to let another human being see them that way. So I have to create a safe space for them to be vulnerable and to let me help them. Because when you come into a salon, you're asking for help. And that's already an uncomfy place for most people, is to ask for help. And now you're asking for help in hygiene. That's very uncomfy for women. So, and then the stories behind why they neglected themselves for so long, So, and I can't be there crying all day. Sometimes I have 6, 7 clients I'm doing in a day. So I can't be there crying all day at every story. So I have to find ways to help them cope. And putting out all that energy all day, even though it is only 4 days, 3 days, it's a lot. And my recover time is obsolete because I'm coming home to people. I'm coming home to a house full of people. I'm coming home to my son. I'm coming home to other obligations. I have friends, so I have people in my life. So it's like, to give that out all the time. They always say, hairstylists are the most underpaid therapists ever because we do so much for people. And there's nothing like seeing a woman come in because she just got out of an abusive relationship and she's cutting off all her hair because he liked it long. Like, how do you not love that, Yeah. But it's heavy. It's heavy because you hear it and you see it more than anybody ever really knows. The salon really is a safe space, and being able to give them the physical to match their emotional is beautiful. So it's a luxury to do that. It's a luxury what they pay me to do that. However, I honor it so deeply. Because there's thousands of stylists that they could go to. And I don't have the biggest online following because that's the first place they go to check your work, to check your personality, to check everything about you,
Yeah,
so
true.
The fact that they still choose me in one of the most fragile times of their life is beautiful. I love it. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
Yeah, I got a lot more respect for stylists, like as you explain it, because they're going through what they're going through, and sometimes you be going through what you're going through, and you have to kind of block what you're going through to help them go through what they're going through, and then you still got to turn around and try and help yourself, but then you still got to go home and help other people and take care of other people. So you don't really have time to really, focus on yourself, because you have to attend to other people, mentally and physically, as far as doing here.
Correct. So, I mean, I can't tell you, like, anybody who knows me knows I like to go out. I'm definitely a carnival junkie. Like, I'm always in somebody's country, in somebody's feathers, doing something, like that's a real thing.
That's true.
But the reason why is because I don't do a lot here in Orlando. And it's not because I don't like Orlando. It's because when I come home from work after clocking in at 9, 10 a.m. in the morning, and I'm leaving work at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, ain't no way I'm going home to redo my day. because now I have to go home and get ready to go out again. No, 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 no. So vacation life is the life for me, you know.
I feel you on that one.
Yeah, vacation life is the life for me. I will shut down. I can't tell you how many people be like, I've been trying to get a hold of you. Sorry, I was unavailable. I was on vacation. Like, you're on vacation all the time. Yeah. Yeah, I am. Thank you for noticing. Make sure you book now because I won't be here in 4 weeks, you know? So I'm counting down to my next adventure for sure.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So we have a couple of viewer questions here. We have a
Yes.
question from Carrie-Ann. For other aspiring to become a hairstylist slash artist, what advice would you give them as well as wanting to be an entrepreneur?
It's gonna sound so stupid and cliche, but jump. Like, you have to do it. The other day I was reminded of why you have to do it. You have to just go for it. If you think about all of the things, you'll never do it. You have to do it scared. Let me say that would be better. Not do it, but do it scared. Because there's going to be fear. There's going to be unsurety. There's going to be all the emotions that come with it. You know, like, oh, I have to invest in school. That's a financial commitment. That's a time commitment. And it's a pause because you can't really make money in your industry until you get that piece of paper. You know, you start doubting, okay, will I make it through those classes that you don't want to do? The cosmetology license, like I said, it includes chemistry, electricity, anatomy, and physiology, but it also includes nails. You know, there's things in it that you don't even want to do, but you have to get through the whole program. So do it scared. You have to do it scared. And I was reminded of that just the other day. A young lady was looking for a salon to work in. Mind you, I have my own space, you know. And a girl was looking for a place to work in, and I gave her to someone else. And when I tried to give her to my friend, she was like, are you dumb? Like, what? How are you so smart for everybody else except yourself? You cannot open multiple locations. You cannot do everything you want to do by yourself. And there is someone who literally fell in your lap, wanting to be mentored, wanting, you know, to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And you giving her to me, and I already have 2 assistants. What are you doing? You know, so I sometimes have to be reminded that I have to do it scared myself, you know, and that's why having great people around you is so important, because that would have been a missed opportunity on my fault based on my own fears about taking life and really doing it scared. So that is absolutely my advice for anybody who wants to not just be a hairstylist, but you know where you are is not your resting place. You know where you are is not your end. You have your idea. You've written it down 10 times in 10 different notebooks. It's on your vision board. It's written in your Bible, like wherever it's written. If that's the case and that is you, do it scared. If nobody likes it, that's fine. There are 8 billion people in the world. Always think about that. If your family of 100 does not support you, there are 8 billion people in the world. And with the internet, you have access to at least 6 billion of them. So there will be someone who you can resonate with. There will be someone that you can help with whatever you have to offer.
You dropping some gems tonight. I'm telling you. I'm not even like you dropping some gems tonight. You know, we have a question here from Dwayne. How do you cope with everyone dumping all their emotions on you? Do you go to yoga, meditation, exercise, or actually speak to your own therapist?
I do have a therapist that I probably should be calling when we get out of this. But
is it that bad? Is it that bad going on tonight?
But no, I do speak to somebody on my own. But I honestly don't speak to her on my own for anything that I hear from like my guests or something like that. Those I'm okay with. It's normally whatever I'm going through that I won't share. You know, behind the chair, you're a listener, from consultation all the way to the goodbye, you know? So there are certain guests that I've had for a very long time that have become more like family. And I think someone had mentioned that earlier. You know, it's like when you do somebody's hair for 10 years, you know everything about them, everything. If they have 6 toes, anything, everything, you know it all when somebody sits in your chair for that many years. And I have had people sit in my chair probably for the last 9 years, and they've traveled with me to the 2 or 3 different places that I've been. Those people, they call me outside of the salon, you know, like when they see things in restaurants that I like, because we have a bond, we have a friendship. So those people I can sometimes dump on. But at the end of the day, that relationship was built behind the chair. It was built at work. So I still keep boundaries for how much I discuss. My firm rule is if I don't hang out with you outside of work, like if the only place I see you, even if it's 10, 15, 20 years, if the only place I see you is at my salon, I don't care how good we are, there's things you will not know about me. Just on the principle of, at the end of the day, you're paying for a service. That's so true. No matter how close we are, if I start dumping all of my crap on you, you came in to unload yours. That's the whole purpose. That's what I'm here for. I have hot towels for this reason, to help you relax. So no matter what I have going on in my life, if I don't hang out with you outside of work, and there's actually maybe only 2 or 3 that I hang out with outside of work in all of I think I have roughly 500 guests that I see in any given point in time throughout the year. And there's only 2 or 3 of them that I see outside of work, like go to their house, I'm at family functions, you know, those types of things. Yeah. If I meet you at work, that's what you will always be to me. I have a great group of friends, so I don't really need to get that close. You might know my favorite restaurants, you might know a couple of my allergies, but if I'm having family or relationship or medical problems, you probably won't know that. What?
You said you might know my favorite restaurant, you might know my allergies. It was funny because restaurant and allergies, that was like
yeah.
That was good. That was good.
If I had 6 toes, you wouldn't know, like that's for the people that I go to their house and they see me in sandals, they will know, but I don't wear sandals at work. So that's not something I'd ever bring up, So
that's true.
Yeah.
We have a question here from, I want to say this was from Sheldon. Okay. As a young mother, what are your challenges being a business owner and navigating a hustle and balance between your passion for entrepreneurship and the grind of being a parent?
Well, I like that you think that I'm young. Thank you. I like to start there. I appreciate that.
I was thinking the same thing he was thinking. I just didn't say.
Rude. No, but I have a son, so I try to make sure he's involved in certain things. Like when I was decorating the salon or my space and all that kinds of stuff, making sure that he's involved in that. But for the first, I would say 4 years of his life, I was able to have a lot of support. I still have a lot of support, thankfully. So for the first 4 years of his life, I knew I had to clean up my life, so whatever young and dumb things that I had done to my credit, to myself, emotionally, physically, like whatever young and dumb things that I did, I knew that by the time he was 5 and had to go to school and all that stuff, I needed to be in a position where I could be more of a mom and less of a worker. So it was a sacrifice. It was a 4-year sacrifice to, like I said, repair my credit, have savings, get an accountant, like the things that you need to do to be an adult and an actual business owner. Mind you, remember I didn't plan to be a business owner, but I did always plan to be an adult. Yeah. So there were things that I needed to do just to be an adult, to have this child. And knowing that I wanted to give him a good education, so I might have to pay for that, and, you know, those types of things. And I wanted to be able to provide. His father's active and all that other good stuff, but relationships come and go, people get flaky, whatever the case may be. And I knew that I was having a baby. So when I had the baby, I knew that I needed to be in a place to take care of this baby, that if something crazy happens, I can. So while I have the support of my family, let me go ahead and get my life together. So now it's actually very easy. He's in autopilot, you know. He's
Nice.
8. So we set his alarm, you know, he gets it. I miss virtual school because I set my alarm for 10 a.m. for virtual school. Okay. 10 a.m.
Wow.
Because he got himself up in the morning. My mom, you know, left his breakfast out when she left to go to work. And I just had to get up to make sure lunch was done. And then I, you know, took over for the rest of the day, but he got his uniform, he does his laundry, but I spent 4 years prepping myself and preparing an independent child. So now it's smooth sailing. Back then, it was a lot of work, teaching him how to do things and teaching him how to fend for himself and to be, you know, at the level where he's supposed to be based on the age that he is. He didn't start off doing his own laundry. He started off learning his colors. And so I used laundry as a way to teach him his colors. So now he understands the difference between rainbow, black, and white. So now he does his own laundry, you know, so it was very intentional. My parenting has always been very intentional to make sure that I'm preparing him for the next stage of his life because, you know, my career is just now really starting and it's starting to flourish. And I want to make sure that he doesn't feel neglected, you know, because his mother may start to travel more or whatever the case may be. I did find out that because of his independence, he's very good with virtual school. So if any point in time, I become this world-renowned, you know, celebrity stylist, that will be a part of getting me, is my son travels with me and he will be in virtual school. You know, so there's things that, like I said, I am very intentional about that is making my life easier now. He knows how to set an alarm, tell time, keep us on time,
Nice.
you know, but these are things that I taught him to do. So it's not bad.
Man, that's good. That's real good. He's starting young. You're doing a good job. You know, you're doing
Thank
an
you.
excellent job. Yeah, he started young. He's you know being independent from a young age. So that's good.
Yes,
You know
yes,
that's
yes,
so
yes.
important.
Absolutely. He's a good kid.
So definitely big up to your son. You know he's in good hands. You know so
Yes, I
he's in
hope
good
so.
hands. Yeah. You know
I hope
so.
so.
When he get old and he start his friends that come around, he's gonna have to he gonna be upset. So you know.
Yes. He's like, y'all don't have to do all this stuff. Like, yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure.
So we have a question here from I want to say
Yes.
this is from Tegan. What
Okay.
is the message on Lauren's boards behind of her?
So it's a quote from Vidal Sassoon, who is he's deceased, but he is probably the most influential person in my career at this point, in terms of what he gave to the hair industry. If you think about bobs and short hair cutting, in a time where all women had long hair and it was curled to the T, you know, he kind of made the sleek bob the thing to do. So he brought geometry and the 3D art to hair in his time span. So it's a quote from Vidal Sassoon, and it says, "You work one-on-one with another human being, and the object is to make them feel so much better and to look at themselves with a twinkle in their eye." So I had this piece commissioned, it was actually part of a 3-set, but the artist didn't like how this one came out. So she made me another one for the salon, but this actually used to hang in my salon. So I figured it was just better than just the white sheet behind me. So I just hung it up there. I try not to touch it because it's not very sturdy at this point in time, but that's why you saw me like scoot up, because I didn't want to even accidentally bump into it. But yeah, it's a quote by Vidal Sassoon.
That quote pretty much represents who you are, though.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because like I said, I understand that I'm a luxury service, and service is always in it. Making sure that even though you're paying me, that I'm not entitled to your money, you're actually gifting me that money. So I want to make sure that I give you your value.
Yeah.
Make sure to give you your value.
That's dope. Because even goes back to you were saying earlier about, you just like helping people, when you said you like help people start a new business, it's not about the money,
Right.
So yeah, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. So is there, I mean, you said, how long you said?
Look, this is not what I quoted, but I'm good. We're good. Because you said it, I was like, what am I be talking about for that long? But no, I see how this happens. So continue.
Yeah. So okay, so where do you see yourself in 5 years pertaining to your occupation?
In 5 years, I absolutely want to be in a bigger space. I want to make sure that I have employees or people that work with me in some capacity. So that's where I'm going toward now, is to basically start thinking about my exit plan. I don't have any reason to retire at this point in time. Like, I'm not old enough, I'm not wealthy enough to even think about it. But you can only do this for so long. Like, I don't envision myself being 60 years old, standing behind the chair any days of the week, So starting to get my exit plan in place. Do I want multiple locations? How are these workbooks going to be looking in a few years? Am I going to have to revamp that and truly only be online? So I'm going to get them out in paper, and I'm going to do that, but creating the digital course to go along with those as well. So that's going to be a journey for sure to translate all that back into digital, just to make sure that I'm relevant, 5 years from now.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about my exit strategy at this point in time, and I'm nowhere near retiring or retirement. Just making sure that I have locations under my name, people who enjoy working for me, enjoy what I want, my vision, growing artists to be able to do their own thing. Because some people are born leaders, and other people are really good support. You need both.
That's true.
I don't believe everyone should have taken this stimulus and started a business, because everyone's not like that. If everybody's a CEO, then nobody's a janitor, and we have an issue. So I want to make sure that I'm pouring back into people that are coming into the industry, kind of making my salon space a safe space, not only for guests, but for artists to come and work and flourish, and not feel challenged that they can't grow, or they can't do this, or they can't leave. No, the building was here before you, it'll be here after you. Go do your thing, let's grow. You grow, I grow. So starting that process, getting those ducks in a row to be able to do that, and continuing to branch out with my education. So that would be my 5-year plan.
Man, that's amazing. Your mentality, like I'm like, you got me like flustered, because what you said, like how you kind of like shy away from and but then as I hear you speak, I'm like, man, like you up here, that's why I said earlier, like, man, your mentality, you're gonna always win.
Thank you.
You're definitely gonna always win, honestly. Like, you dropping a lot of gems. I think a lot of people, I mean, the viewers watching now, and I think when people see your episode and really listen to you speak, even like business owners or anyone, people
right, yeah, because it's not just here.
Yeah, anyone who's struggling, what you're struggling with, you're definitely gonna motivate them, and you're definitely gonna give them hope. So like you definitely dropping a lot of gems. So
good. I'm glad, because I was worried. Like, when you were saying, like, sometimes we're on there for 2-3 hours. you know what I was thinking? I can't just sit and talk about myself for 3 hours. Like I want to throw up at 30 minutes. Like it's not something that comes natural for me,
Yeah.
but I am passionate about what I believe, and I'm passionate about my career. So if you ask me those types of questions, then yeah, we could talk forever, I guess, on that kind of stuff.
I'm the number one podcast in the world. No, I'm joking. It's honestly the viewers, the viewers ask some really good questions, and it kind of,
Very good question.
yeah. So
Very good question.
the viewers definitely plays a part, and they even help me out a lot. You help me out a lot, and it just
Yeah.
and like you said, like as you grow, I grow. Is the same thing. Like we all working together. Communicating with you, and you just dropping a lot of gems, and you sharing your story with us. And
Right.
it's just organic. It's not forced or anything.
No.
It's just natural. So
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, this has been as good for the people watching as it is, for me. I've enjoyed it, and I'm happy that even though I didn't want to do it, and I am.
I love that. No, I definitely appreciate your honesty. That's
And it wasn't that I
like,
didn't want to do it when you asked me, because when you asked me, I was good. It's just the last week where things wasn't good, and I'm like,
yeah,
and you reminded me about it,
yeah.
by saying, hey, don't forget we have Monday. And I'm thinking like, oh,
Yeah.
but it's been amazing for me to just talk about why I'm still here, and that things aren't as bad as they seem, so it's encouraging to myself, it's holding myself accountable for what I believe. Sometimes we forget what we believe when life starts to happen. You start to shake.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So,
You don't really have time to sit back and reflect sometimes,
correct.
because you're always on the go. You're
Correct.
always working, so
You start to get panicked, you start to get fearful, all the negative talk comes in your head, and it's like, I don't care how many affirmations I say. If something scares me right now, an affirmation is not coming out, so sometimes you have to remind yourself, and this time spent with you all is a reminder for myself that like I said, you ain't no punk. Like, get it together.
That's facts. That's facts. That's facts.
It's very good. Very, very good.
No, I appreciate you, and I know the viewers definitely appreciate you.
Yay!
So we have a question here from Tegan. Absolutely beautiful. Any plans to come home to the VI and give some face-to-face conference? And yes, Mumba, this I got caught up in reading it.
I would love to come home and do something. I have not been successful doing it on my own. Every year that I go home for Carnival and stuff, I always try to host a class. I always try to get with a salon owner there or somebody there to help promote me coming in as either makeup or hair or whatever. And it doesn't always go as you would want it to do. It's kind of like a flop night at the club, is you and the security guard there. So I would love to be able to bring down a case of workbooks and do an actual conference with people on island who want to learn, because St. Croix is one of the places where you don't need a license. And I have clients, guests, friends that fly up from St. Croix to get their hair done because they do not trust anyone there. So, or they'll come to me for certain things because they don't trust, people there. So they try to line up their appointments with when they're coming to get medical things done, or, whatever the case may be, visiting family. Sometimes they'll stop here as just a stop in their way to somewhere else, just so they can get their hair done. So I would love to. So if there's any way that you can help coordinate that, let me know, because I will bring a case of workbooks, we'll sell out a class, and make it worth everybody participating.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Question from Sheldon Nicholas. Did you ever consider the ministry like your parents?
No.
You said that fast. You said that a little too fast.
So what a lot of people don't know is my parents they're in ministry, but they were pastors. That's how I ended up in St. Croix. They went to pastor a church. So that's how we ended up on the front of the paper. My dad had a radio show. The church itself was one of the bigger churches on the island. So everybody has passed through there at some point in time. You know, they owned a school, all kinds of things. So, but I never thought about being like behind the pulpit in any way, shape, or form. But what I do behind the chair is, for me, the exact same. There's really nothing new under the sun, in the sense of, you know, there's a lot of people who are into the universe and they speak all these mantras and they speak all these things, but a lot of that is scripturally based regardless. So when I speak to people, I'm able to, if I know they're Christian, I can quote King James. If I know that they're about the universe, I can still use King James and twist it and turn it and put it in a way that they will understand, because they appreciate the universe. I don't discriminate behind my chair. So I do have LGBTQ that come in and get their hair done. So my ministry is on the opposite side, you know, like with them, you know, how to withstand persecution, you know, those types of things. It's from a whole different perspective at that point.
That's true.
So I do ministry in that sense, but I'm not a scripture and verse ministry. Like, I know what, you know, Matthew says, but I'm not going to say Matthew 6:2 says XYZ. I will tell you what it's supposed to mean, as opposed to actually saying the scripture and verse, you know? Yeah. So it is a ministry for me, because I definitely don't play around with anything dark or, you know, anything like that. But yeah. But yeah, the short answer is no.
So with your parents being in the ministry growing up as a kid, did you was it difficult for you growing up, just maybe because you wanted to be a certain way or you want to do certain things, and just because, you know, well, with their profession, that it prevented you?
Yes. It was very difficult. I remember talking to a gentleman who was, I guess, considerably older than I was. And his mother almost had a panic attack when he brought me to the house, because she knew my dad from church, you know? So she's like, "You bring the pastor daughter to my house." Oh my God. You know, like she was in a panic, because she started thinking like, holy crap, for real, you know, like, this is not okay. You know, not only are you probably too old for her, but do you know who her daddy is? Like, that's the same person we listen to getting ready to go to church. Like, are you nuts? So
that's hilarious.
That was a thing. And it was a lot of pressure from the people in the community. You know, I didn't know them, but they knew me. So I am always, even to this day, I am always a representation of my parents, which is why I don't have an OnlyFans. Because if my parents find out, what will happen to me? What will happen to them?
I'm trying to put myself in yourself in your father's shoe, and I would, man, that would be tough. Nah, you definitely don't need even seven.
I would like to say I'm kidding. I'm not gonna have an OnlyFans. There's not one floating around, so that's not a real thing. But I just make that point. Like, that's why I never would do like music videos. You know, I was approached by a lot of producers and artists and stuff like that to do music videos, and I never would, because I'm like, if this song blows up and makes it to BET, you know, they're gonna be like, "Is that the pastor's daughter?" You know, like, that's always a thing. Yeah. So I'm aware of it. I'm less bothered by it now, which is why I go to Carnival and all that stuff, and I still come home and I bring my feathers home, you know? So it's still a thing now, but I'm also more of an adult now. So
Yeah, that's true. You're adult. You
it,
could do whatever you want now. You're
right.
adult. You
It
know.
kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
But I feel like as long as my heart's pure, when I walk, my shadow's up, it stands up right. Everything is good. Everything is
You ever thought about getting into acting?
good.
You're laughing.
I've been asked. No, I'm laughing because I get asked that all the time. That's a little too much attention for me, but right now, I think I get asked to start a podcast more often than anything else. Is to
That's funny. I was gonna ask you that.
Yeah, I get asked that often. When are you gonna do a podcast? When are you gonna start a YouTube? Like, do you understand that nobody knows that you have this personality? Like nobody knows. And for me, because it's mine, I've always had it. I don't find it to be spectacular. You know that kind of way. Like I don't
Yeah.
find it worthy of the attention that people keep telling me I should be getting. I just want to sit in my bubble, make my money, and go to carnival. Like that's all I want to do. So adding more
Yeah.
things that I have to be responsible for is not something I look forward to on any given day. But yes, I have been asked. No, I've never truly done it. And I don't know. I may venture out and one day do a YouTube or one day do a podcast. I don't know. But I get asked about putting myself out there more a lot.
Yeah. The reason why I was gonna ask you about, a podcast, I was gonna, a podcast and you being a kind of like a motivational speaker or like a speaker. The reason being is because like your personality and you speak well and you have a lot of information and a lot of your information is valuable information. Like you have a lot of knowledge that you could help a lot of people, you could inspire people. You have that aura and energy about you.
Got
You
you.
know,
Oh, thanks.
no, for real. Yeah, seriously. Like I could sit here and talk to you for like hours and hours, and we would just have a good conversation because of
Right.
your energy and just like you're open minded, you're honest, and you speak the truth, and you're not. Well, from what we're speaking tonight, you're not embarrassed to share your mistakes or your fears and stuff like that. So you will make somebody else comfortable willing to communicate with you and dig deep from their perspective too. So that's why I say that.
I don't know.
No,
I'll
that's why I
think.
say that.
I've been saying for years that I'll think about it, but I've thought about it a lot and I still shy away from it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's like more like well, it's is when if you want to do it. That's the most
Right.
important thing. But
Right.
you have all that to offer, you
Got you. I
know.
see. Thank you.
Yeah. But if you have all that stuff to offer, but if you're not motivated to share it, but
Right.
you're doing it, you're not gonna really enjoy it. You're pretty much gonna
Right.
stress yourself out.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know.
sharing information is good. I will share information with anyone, like most people pick my brain about a lot of things. I get a lot of random texts like, hey, you've always given me sound advice, what do you think? I definitely have guests that are like, girl, I booked my appointment because XYZ happened and I needed to talk to somebody, so I I can relate to a lot of things mainly because I was quite stubborn. Most will say I'm still quite stubborn. So sometimes I've had to learn the hard way. And with learning the hard way, you come up across a lot of other things. And because I'm kind of a knowledge junkie anyway, um, definitely an information seeker. So it's like, okay, I'm learning the hard way, but now I got to get out of here in the best way possible. Let me sit, let me pause, let me take a breath and regroup. Let me regroup. And in that regrouping, you learn things, you learn
Yeah.
how to cope with other things and you learn your mistakes and you have to figure out how to get yourself out of holes and not in jail. you know. So you kind of figure out how to manage without dying, you know.
No, it's true. It's true. I like your analogies. They're funny and good. Question from Tegan. Lauren, did you go to Complex?
Yes,
Yep.
I did.
Proud Barracuda.
Yes, which is such a weird mascot. I don't even claim that.
No?
I went to, no, you ever see a barracuda? Like, why would I
Yeah.
want that to be my mascot? I would rather something cool like elephant. Same colors.
I'm thinking, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what if you was like a manatee? Like, who wants to be a friggin'
Yeah,
manatee?
not a
Like,
manatee, not a manatee, you know. Shout out to the Florida manatees and all the manatees in Florida, but that's
right,
one, yeah, we
that's
don't want to be that.
dumb. So I
Yeah.
feel like barracuda, they so extra, bad teeth. Like, no, I don't like it.
No.
But you
Simple
know,
educational complex elephants. I don't know. We might have to try another one. Maybe like the tigers or the lions or something.
you know, something like I know
Yeah.
barracudas are aggressive, but that to me that's like the same as saying like eel, like an eel. Like,
You-
who wants to be an electric eel? Like that's weird.
That's funny.
See, it's an ugly fish. Yes, it's an
Yeah,
ugly fish.
it is an ugly fish.
Horrible, horrible, horrible.
Yeah, so that's from Tiga and Lauren. I'm embarrassed that I
Oh,
just recognized you. Forgive me.
ugh.
So so how has your no who is there any individual that has been a inspiration to you that have really helped you out a lot besides your family, that someone that you could always go and talk to and lean on?
Um, yes. Honestly, like my friend circle is pretty bomb. You know, I've had the same. There are a lot of women that have trouble finding like a good group of friends. And I can honestly say I have a solid 8 to 10 people that I talk to 4 or 5 times a week.
That's awesome.
And I met them in different places, different spaces, and I forced them to get along. So we're all in a group chat. We travel together. We have babies together. You know, like it's the same group of people, and we've probably been connected. Sheena and I have been connected for 20 years at this point, I believe. But the other group of girls, like it's been probably 8 or 9 years. And then here and there, you know, we allow people in the group if we feel like they fit and they mesh well with the other people there.
Yeah.
So I have a really solid group of friends. And one thing that my group of friends is great about, annoyingly great about, is accountability.
It's
If
important.
you say you was losing 10 pounds, you got 8 people looking at you. 8. Look, I heard a noise. And if it's a roach, I'm out.
No, man. No, you're in Florida.
I know. Stop it. Don't say it. Shh. But there's like 8 people that's looking at you like, hey, where's your 10 pounds? Well, you know, we're watching. So when I say I'm gonna do things, I have people that are waiting for it to happen who aren't. They don't care about my excuses. They don't care. They know my real life, you know, so they're not trying to hear nothing. And because we hold each other that accountable, it makes it for a safe space to grow and to
Very
make
true.
mistakes and to
Very true.
talk about our mistakes and talk about, okay, so for real, it didn't happen this year. What can we do better for next year? You know, how can we make this actually happen? What didn't you accomplish? What book do we need to read? What, you know, what do we need to do? Do we need to go to more therapy? Do we need to do less therapy? You know, whatever the case may be. So we definitely hold each other accountable. And because the relationships have been through such a large time span, we're really able to get to the bottom of it and grow, like seeing my friends grow from nothing to something. All of us are, growing businesses and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's my inspirational circle. There's tons of celebrities that I think do a really good job and stuff like that, but I don't have access to those people. I only know what they show me on TV and on the internet. So I don't really put a whole lot of stock into what happened. It's very different when you get to actually talk to Kevin Hart as opposed to listening to a Kevin Hart interview. They filter things, they cut things out, So I admire so many people for their struggle and the parts of their life that they share with us. But I want to see the nitty gritty of people before I'm inspired by them. And my immediate circle of friends does that for me, because we see the ugly side, we see the hurts, we see the pains, we see the growth, from it as well. So we get to see the whole process with each other and support each other through it.
That's the accountability is important. It's so important,
Yeah.
It's so important. Yeah, that's major. You want to be able to have someone to really, really tell you the truth, even though they might hurt your feelings or they might get you upset. But and you want to have that in the back of your mind, knowing that you have people that can hold you accountable and be honest with you, even though you might think it's right. And then
Yeah, there's definite times when my friends are like, hey, you got a week. Like, you have 1 week. Whatever funk you're in, whatever foolishness you're going through, like, you have a week. And then I want to see 2 pages of this done, or, I ain't see you posting this week. How are you going to, so we really help each other through our tough times, because you don't always feel like doing it. You do not always feel like doing it. And sometimes we are the only people at each other's events, So it's important that they have my back and I have theirs. Yeah.
That's good. Motivation too at the same time,
Yeah.
They're being there.
Because you're seeing the real story, and it, like I said, everybody says, you got to go through dark times. Everybody says that because everybody has been through it. But there's nothing like watching someone do it. If that doesn't inspire you, then it's not for you. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not. And that's okay. You might be great support. You might be, great on social media. Other things you may be an asset for, and that's one thing that I had to learn about my friend circle is I might be the extra creative, entrepreneurial, let's have 10 different careers in 1 year just to see what happens person. But there's people in my friend circle that, they want a 9-to-5. They want their benefits. They want to know what they're getting on their check. And it doesn't make them a bad person, So I had to adjust. I had to adjust to that too, and not put everything that I want for me and expect them to do the same thing because we're friends. I had to realize their boundaries and understand that, that same 9-to-5 person, because they have a 9-to-5, I might need $20 this week, and they have it because they're the 9-to-5 person, So there's so many ways that we support each other. And sometimes there's been days that it has been, hey, I don't have no lunch today. Like, you got me, and then Uber Eats comes to my job, or, stuff like that. So
it's nice.
It's humbling when we're literally sending each other gas money because I'm trying to support your dream and you trying to support mine. And this week my dream kind of came true. So let me help you with yours. Let me make sure you got gas in your car. Like, damn, okay, we need a rental. All right. Well, I got the good credit. I got the credit card. So it's like we help each other out in that way. And sometimes, you helping me for 6 months and I only get to help you for a week, but it's not about that measurement, like, because we know that there's a friendship, there's a foundation. And if I win, everybody wins. That's my personality, and it's important for me that in my circle, I know who those people are and I know how to love them in that space. because just because they're not like me doesn't mean they're a bad person.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Each one teach one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because sometimes you care so much for a person that you
Mm-hmm.
can't, something you lose focus on, trying to help them from your perspective and not just letting them be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's actually one of the resolutions that I had for this year was to stop giving my opinion. Nobody asks you, Lauren, like, stop. Sometimes people just want to vent. And I was reading something, and that's one thing that I read is like, when someone comes to you and starts talking, stop them and ask, would you like for me to resolve this, or do you just want to vent? That saves you headache. That saves you heartache. And the expectation is there on how this conversation is going to go. If I'm just listening, then I am just listening, But if you would like my opinion based on the fact that, I've been through something similar or, and you've seen the other side of it, then that's a different conversation to be had. So understanding those boundaries are very helpful in having, one, high expectations for somebody who didn't know you were expecting it. Or, because then you're like, well, damn, what kind of friend are you? You ain't even give me no advice. I didn't know you wanted it, So navigating the differences in my friendships is really a focus for me this year, is stop giving my opinion, because I want the best for everyone. So I'm quick to be like, well, I read, well, I'm always quick to help you with information because that's what I do. I store information. I'm like a friggin' encyclopedia.
Yeah.
So, but everybody doesn't want that. Hell, sometimes I don't even want it, so I have to be very cognizant of other people and what they're actually needing in that moment. And most of the time, people already have their answers. They just need somebody to listen and not give an opinion.
That's true.
So that's what I'm learning and navigating through now. And it's difficult because somebody will say something and I, red flags start going off and I fail sometimes because if it's too dumb, I'm going to say it. If it's too dumb, I'm going to say something. But I've had to come back and retract and apologize and, do my bad. I did say I wasn't going to do this last week, but that was a little bit too much for me. I got too hyped. I'm bringing it back down. I apologize for getting into your business,
Yeah.
I'm not bailing you out this time, but, I wish you well, that kind of thing, like to just kind of change, pushing what I think you should do on other people.
Yeah. But that's good that you apologize, though.
Yeah. That's important. Yeah. I spend a lot of time doing that. Sometimes I apologize for things that aren't my fault because I prefer to keep the peace, and I know my shoulders are big. So it's like, it's nothing for me to assume blame because I already know my imperfections, Yeah. So if you notice, even when we're talking, I always talk about like, well, what I learned from that scenario, because that's the purpose of it, is for me to, no matter how bad it is, how crazy it is, how hurtful it may be, there's always a learn. There's always something that I could have done, and even if what I could have done was not jump to conclusions, listen more, that's something I can apologize for. You know what?
Yeah.
I assumed the wrong thing. I jumped to a conclusion and I'm sorry. I should have let you speak. That kind of way. Like there's always something that you can learn from, always something that you can improve on, even if you're wrong. Like that's, if you're wrong, if you're right, you know what? I know that the information I was giving you is solid information. So in theory, I'm right. But if they didn't ask for it, I'm intrusive. Now I'm wrong. I'm pushing this on them.
Yeah.
So it's something that happened earlier this year. And I really had to sincerely go back and say, you know what? I was wrong. I overstepped many boundaries. And, I mean no harm, but I was wrong. And left it at that. There was no excuse. There's, you can't say I'm sorry, but like that's dumb. So you just have to apologize and take ownership, no matter how big or small it is. You have to take ownership for what you played in it, because it's always two people. So
that's commendable. That's commendable that you do that, because a lot of people struggle with that. You know,
it's hard.
yeah, it's definitely hard because sometimes, you know, your ego and your pride, you know, sometimes it kind of controls you, which you not even knowing it, you know.
Right.
You know,
Right.
sometimes you gotta like for you for instance, like you kind of like you humble yourself and you kind of sit back and reflect that you
Yeah.
come to the realization, you know, I was wrong, and then you would go back afterwards and you apologize, you know, and that's important and so commendable because you know life is life, you know, it's not perfect, but the
No.
most important thing is that you willing to accept your mistakes and you could look yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself, you
Right.
know, and once you could do that, you always gonna be happy no matter
Yeah,
what, you know, and
absolutely. Any relationship, friendship, situationship, workship, whatever it is, when I'm done with it, when I tell you I can be free from it because I know when I was in it, like I said, whether it's work, whether it's friendship, whatever it was, I know that when I left, my shadow stood straight up. And that's a Chinese proverb. You know, it's like your shadow, once it's upright, you have already left. And what's lingering is your shadow. And once that is upright, meaning you did what you were supposed to do.
that's
Once
true.
that happens, you're good. You can be disappointed it didn't work out. You could have wanted something different, something more. But once you leave a situation and you can walk out tall and your shadow behind you isn't, hiding because you knew that you did something wrong. No, once you leave a situation, you should always leave it upright. No matter what it is, leave it upright. Put your all into it. Be the person that likes the other person more. Be the person that begged for your job back. Be that person. Because at the end of the day, I tell people this all the time, and I'm gonna use a really bad analogy.
You've been on point all night, so one bad analogy is
I'm
okay.
gonna use a bad one. I'm gonna use a bad one. When you think about girls going through their whole stage, right? These girls, they feel like they need to move to another city, move to another state to start over, like so nobody knows they was a hoe.
Yeah,
No, 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 no. I've never bought into that philosophy because at the end of the day, everybody goes through their time and their period. And it doesn't matter if you had relations with 300 people. There are 8 billion people on the planet. There is only them 300. And even if they tell a friend to tell a friend, let's say the worst it gets is there's 1,000 people in your community that know one day you was out here wilding out.
mm-hmm.
After a while, from the day you stop, they're going to say you was wilding out yesterday. From a year you stop, it's going to be she was that way last year. I ain't seen her in a minute. 5 years down the road is going to be, well, she used to be out there, but I ain't seen her in a long time. Like you have the opportunity to grow. Take it. You don't have to run from it. You don't have to hide from it. None of it. Live your life. Do what you're supposed to do. If you've forgiven yourself for the bad things that you did in past relationships, if you've forgiven yourself for the things you did, bad at your job, family, whatever the topic may be, you've forgiven yourself, you have grown. And with every day that passes is one day more that you were not that person before. Live it, own it, live it and own it. Be okay with not being perfect. And you're good. You're good. You're good. Like I tell people that all the time, what are you moving for? You gonna move somewhere to do what? Internet is big. All they got to do is text the right person, the right photo, and it's going to follow you. Like what you running from, whatever, whether it was crime, whatever the case may be. But I always use the analogy with the whole phase because you always hear people picking up and moving when they feel like they want to grow up. Why you can't grow up where you are? Why do you have to run? Why do you have to be ashamed of what happened in the past or, whatever the case may be? So I take that into any mistake that I make. If I made it, I'm going to own up to it. I'm not running from it. Run from it to go where?
Yeah.
I don't have that energy.
Yeah, you're not facing your truth. And if
Correct.
you're not facing your truth, if you're not facing the truth, you could never grow as an individual. You always
Mm-mm.
you holding yourself back, and you kind of punishing yourself, internally, especially too. That's so important what you just said. I know you compare it to the whole and stuff, but that's a good
Right.
analogy,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Yeah.
Because once you do something, if you did it, you did it. Did you like doing it? If you like doing it, then just embrace it.
Right.
Don't like doing something, but because it's unpopular to the masses,
Right.
you punish yourself for that. Nah, you
Right.
just you embrace that. Everybody makes mistakes. Things happen. But if
You have to grow up.
yeah,
You have to grow up. Sometimes I have to talk. Like, I had a conversation with a friend of mine and her sister. Her sister is like early 20s. And, we're in our late 30s, going into 40s and all this other mess. So she's like, oh my gosh, she's so responsible. I said, wait, pause. She is 20-something years old. What do you expect her to be? Just because she's your sister, you're putting her here. Before she's your sister, she's a 23-year-old person. Do you realize the generation she lived in? Like,
yeah,
it's not the same. It's
that's
not
true.
the same. So you're expecting you out of her at that age. It's not going to happen. So she's frustrated. For what? At a 23-year-old? I don't even follow 23-year-olds online. Like, we don't have nothing in common.
Yeah, that's true. All times have changed. That's true. That's so
Times
true.
have changed. So what is popular and great and all that for them, it's horrible for us. So let her be 20-something years old. Always remember that, y'all, there's a 10-year gap between y'all, and it'll help you out much more than any other therapy on the face of the planet.
You know what's funny? You just said that because my son had a basketball tournament. I was watching the game because we had a long break, and I think it was some girls walking by and they was talking, and they was talking like how they talk now. And I was like, man, what? I don't understand. I said to myself, I don't understand why they talk like that. But then I was like, you know what? Why am I questioning how they talk? That's just the way how they are.
Right.
I can't expect them to talk the way how we used to talk growing up. And I
Right.
kind of, that would bother me. Like before that, I used to always be like, man, I used to like, it kind of like not aggravated me, but I used to like, man, why they do that? Why they do that? But then it kind of, I just slapped myself in the face the other day. I'm like, man, you tripping? Just chill.
Right. That's a problem I don't even need to take on. There's so many other things I need to take on. That's not what I'm going to take. No.
Yeah. So
I didn't party with them. Nothing. I'm going to let them do their 20. Because when I was 23, when I was 20-something years old partying, I was nuts. So I don't expect them to be any different. And because it does not appeal to me, I don't go. Like, simple. I'm not going to go and complain. Like, no, I don't go.
Yeah.
And be done with it.
That's so true.
I think my son thinks I've abandoned him. I have got to go.
Oh yeah. So I was just because I was looking at the time, I was like, but then we was talking about that. But I'm gonna get you with the quick hitters, and then we definitely gonna wrap it up. So top 5 favorite books.
5. Oh wow.
Top 3 to 5. I'll give you 3 to 5.
Oh crapola. The Power of Vulnerability by Brené Brown. That one hit hard. Like, I go back to that one a lot. The Power of Vulnerability by Brené Brown. Super Attractor by Gabrielle Bernstein. And I'm going to say The Alchemist was really good. That's a classic.
Classic.
But The Alchemist. And I go back to the 5 Love Languages a lot. I go back to that book a lot because it's not just for romantic relationships, just in dealing with your friends, dealing with your family, understanding how people want to receive love and how you like to give it. Sometimes it doesn't line up. So you kind of get to learn other ways of how to deal with people. And it helps with even like behind the chair, like it helps me with my clients. They'll say certain things, you know, like, oh my gosh, my husband took me out and did da 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 da. You know, so I understand that their love language might be gifts. So on their next appointment, I might throw in something extra, you know, that kind of way. So just picking up on those little details and those little clues helps a lot, just even in business. So I've kind of used that to my advantage for sure.
Top 3 favorite foods.
Foods. Pasta, pizza, and ice cream.
All right. That's funny. Your go-to dish to cook.
Ooh, I am absolutely a pastatarian. So pasta is the thing that I make a lot. Throw all kinds of stuff in it. I feel like you could put tortellini in anything. Anything.
Wow. You're making me want to go to Giovanni's now.
Yes. Oh, that is the spot. But you could put tortellini in anything. I want everyone to do this. I want everyone to make an omelet with tortellini, and it's gonna change your life. Mine, blown.
That's interesting. I'm tripping. Okay, you got me lost on that one. I will have to check that one out.
Yeah. You just, you boil the tortellini, let that do its thing, and then you throw it in your omelet. Okay. I'm telling you, can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. 5 words that describe you.
Oh. I'm intense. So I love hard, I hate hard. Like I'm an intense person. Okay. Very focused. I'm quite eccentric. My interests vary from aliens to open toe shoes. Like it's broad. I'm very consistent in friendships and anything. I'm very consistent. And I want to say loving, but I'm not lovey-dovey. Like, you will know that I care, but not necessarily because I'm a hugger, kisser, or crier, or anything like that. But there'll be no doubt in your mind that we are good.
Okay, so so that love and caring, how that intertwines.
Yes. So the way that I nurture my son is to educate him.
Yeah.
I don't coddle him per se. Which some people would consider more loving than my approach.
Okay. If you had to choose an actor to play your life story in a movie, who would you choose?
Zoe Saldana.
Okay. Nice. Favorite musical artist?
That is difficult.
Top 5, 2 to 5.
Can I do genre?
Sure. Genre.
I am a soca baby. Didn't know it till later on in life, but soca is my life.
Top 3 to 5 places you would like to travel to.
I want to go to Denmark. I want to go to the Maldives. And I want to go to London.
Okay. 3 to 5 things that makes you happy.
Food. Food makes me happy, for sure. I'm a jokey person, so I really enjoy jokes. Like I put a joke in my son's lunchbox every day, and I picking them out in the morning cracks me up, so I like jokes, literal, actually corny jokes. What else? My family makes me happy most of the time. Most of the time they make me happy. My friends and family, I should put that all in one. The people closest to me it's very important to me. And travel. Travel makes me extremely happy.
Two more questions.
Yes.
Favorite place or places you have traveled to?
I love Trinidad. Love, love, love Trinidad. Um, where else did I really, really, really love? I actually really do love Jamaica. I go there often, but as a tourist, I never really go to visit my long lost family that's there or anything that like that. But I go to Jamaica often, and I want to go to. I know this is not the question, but I want to go to Guyana. Like I want to go back to that question. I want to go to Guyana, but
Okay, yeah.
I travel. I do a lot of cruising, so there's a couple ports that I would like to like go and explore the island a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're coming on to the last question. So
Oh
you're
no.
so you don't have to go through this nightmare I have put you through tonight. So 5 dinner guests, dead or alive.
5 dinner guests, dead or alive. So Vidal Sassoon is definitely one. So he's passed, but I definitely would love to pick his brain. It's like thousands of dollars to take his courses now in New York, just for that information to be passed down. So I want it directly from him, like that would mind blown. Chrissy Teigen, I feel like she's my spirit animal.
She's dope. She crazy. No, we're
Yeah,
not crazy in a good way. She's free. Put
crazy
it
in a
that
good
way.
way. Crazy in a good way. Yes. So Chrissy Teigen is absolutely one of them. Lil Duval is the ratchet side of me. Let me tell you, he was in Orlando not too long ago, and we were front and center, like, oh, I was in it to win it. I know it's cliche, but I really want to sit down with Beyonce. I have some things I want to ask her about her religious beliefs. And I think I want to talk to George Washington. That's really odd, but I really like, you were the first president, you were the first leader.
Interesting, yeah.
Like you literally had slaves' teeth in your mouth. Like, what did that feel like? Like, what? So yeah. I want to talk to George Washington. Like, what?
You put George Washington on trial.
Yes, I want to know. I want to know.
Duval will be cracking jokes on George Washington.
Hear like what life was in that time period, and like, yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. That would be jokes. That would be jokes.
Pure jokes.
So, first off, I want to give a shout out to all the viewers for tuning in and supporting.
Yes, thank you for staying with us.
Yes, I appreciate you guys. Great amazing questions, great questions, and all the advice and compliments and inspirational messages you guys sent. I appreciate you guys. This was
thanks so much.
Amazing. So, any shout outs you want to give? Any shout outs or anything?
I'd like to thank God. No, I'm kidding. No, I would like to shout out my parents who are watching my child right now. I actually have a bonus child here as well. So I'd like to thank them for watching my child and the bonus child. It's not my child. I'm not affiliated with this child. We won't even go there. But I'd like to thank them for doing that. But no, my friends circle, I don't even know if they're tuned in, but I'd like to thank them for, going through life with me and all that good stuff. So not very many shout outs. I would like to thank you though for inviting me. It was very unexpected because although I have listened into your podcast here and there, I never would have thought that I would be a candidate or of interest to anyone, you know? So thanks for that leap of faith in hoping and praying that I wouldn't bore the people to death. And I would like to say for everyone that tuned in, my max was 45 minutes to an hour when we started, okay? 45 minutes to an hour. That's what I said.
We agreed on it.
And we agreed. We did agree. And we are far from it.
Yeah. You're not the first guest to say that, so, you know.
So you kind of knew. Okay.
Yeah, it's, you know, I had an idea. Let's put it that way, you know.
Okay.
So, but the way how I was like, well, I know she probably gonna go for 45 minutes to an hour and a half. But you know, that's why I reminded you just to make sure I was good.
And that's why I kept telling you, I'm good, because I know what we had agreed on.
Man, this has been great, Lauren. Honestly, this has been amazing. I learned a lot. I learned a lot just hearing your story and you speaking and dropping gems. You know, you have an amazing heart. And most important thing, I appreciate you being so honest with me that you didn't really want to do it. Like that means the honesty means more than anything to me. You know, you just being open and you telling me straight up. You know, I definitely appreciate you. I respect you for that so much. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I know you inspired a lot of people. I know you're probably going to motivate a lot of people too.
Awesome. I hope so.
You definitely will. You have a good heart. Tomorrow we have Cristobal Machin Encarnacion coming on 7 p.m. tomorrow. You know, via legend in sports baseball, helping a lot of the youths them. So we have that tomorrow, and then Wednesday we have Lauren's partner, her travel partner in crime.
Yes, my partner in crime.
Gangsters, you know, her gangster partner. We have Sheena Fontaine coming out Wednesday, 7 p.m. And then we have Anna Broadway, scout for Major League scout for the San Francisco Giants. He coming out Sunday. So, just to give you guys the rundown real quick for this week, Lauren, you're going to have to take us out, low, you got to take us out.
What do we have to do?
Again, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Everybody have a good night.
Okay. I'm like, we didn't talk about this. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Your soca tone or your acting, whatever, just anything. Or just...
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for staying with us for this 2 hours and 47 minutes in counting.
Facts.
I do appreciate this space. I definitely felt safe and open and all that good stuff, and being able to share my journey with you. Absolutely tell a friend, share this, say, hey, I know it's long, but if you scroll through, no matter where you stop, you're going to find something. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you. And we will see you tomorrow.